say? You know, the strait
He's
was
gonna
open
go.
already before the war started. You gained nothing.
Yeah,
Except now it might have a toll booth on it.
I was just on Twitter. MAGA's celebrating this like a victory. Did you go on Twitter this morning? I was just like, how
Because they're
retarded are these
retarded.
people?
They're
They,
because they, whatever makes them feel better. It's fine.
yeah, I just want the war to end. It's sick. Like Americans died, thousands of Iranians, money lost. It was just absolutely sick being American, having my country doing this. I'm just glad it's over, but
It's almost over.
Yeah, maybe.
I told a lot of people, like, it's a bunch of hot air. He's not going to destroy a civilization. He's going to capitulate. You watch, because this is in his art of the deal, right? It's art of the steal. Big man, big Yankee with a loud mouth, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
He couldn't do anything. Remember how he acted like he didn't even want the straight open anyway. He tried every tactic there was, and then he was like, "Oh, we're gonna get an international armada to go open it," and everybody told him to f off. The only way to open the strait is to capitulate to Iran's demands. And they were this close to closing the Red Sea too. Like, oh, really? Here's our demands. And he knows he physically cannot get it open. They tried to raid and failed. They used that rescue mission as
Yeah,
cover.
you
He
think that?
didn't
Yeah,
lose all
tell
those
me about that
planes. I
'cause
mean, come on. Like, I
that's kind
guess
of what I
people.
thought too. What's your insight on that? Because that's what I noticed. I saw the article how it was those giant cargo ships. It was like 100 miles away, right, through the mountains.
Yeah, well, they
So
lied about the location of where it went down. And I understand that. They lie about where it is as a play fake to try and get, Iran to go
yeah,
that way while they go the other way. So it didn't happen where they said. It was outside of Isfahan. And this is the target that, look, they didn't mobilize all these ground forces and stuff as far away from Okinawa all the way down to Iran just for show. Okay, they were planning on a raid to try and get the uranium, which you didn't need to do because that was already on the table before the war too. But Israel preemptively struck and dragged the U.S. in it. Like, you gained absolutely nothing.
yeah,
You
total
lost.
failure.
Yeah, you had. Yeah, like, you have economies on the brink of collapse. The Gulf Arabs are finished. Bahrain is not going to recover. Kuwait is not going to recover. UAE is, like, really thin ice. Qatar and Oman were smart. Oman took the right path. Qatar saw which way the wind was blowing and decided to do that. The day before a ceasefire, Saudi Arabia's largest petrochemical plant got obliterated. Their favorite word, except it
Mhm.
actually happened. And it was like an eighth of 8% of their economy just gone like that. Boom, you're out.
Yeah, and how many
Yeah.
children will never see their father again? We don't even know how many soldiers are dead yet, and not to mention the
They're
Iranians.
covering up the casualties 100%.
It's
You don't
just
lose
devastating.
C-130s and things. They're like, oh, no one was on it. Really? Not even the pilot? Like, come on.
Yeah, like, how do those cargo ships where were the people then? How did the people get out of there? Like, I don't know. I don't
They
know how the answer
well,
to
they
that, but
didn't.
it seems like some people are dead, to my opinion, but I hope I'm wrong.
How about
Or
about 100 tanks, Merkava tanks on fire in Lebanon? What did they just not have crews? They all popped out the hatch and walked back to Israel.
yeah, I love those terrorists getting blown up in Lebanon.
Oh, there's nothing better. The best part of, like, a war sucks, but if there's some silver
Mhm.
lining, and there is,
Yeah.
it's watching these uppity, God's chosen lunatics burn in their tanks. But
Mhm.
it's not me watching it. It's me imagining people in Palestine and Syria watching it. I like
And then
to think of these kids in Gaza watching the Karamshah 4 just
Mhm.
out of the air and bam, and hitting the Negev, hitting Dimona, hitting Tel Aviv. That's just sweet
Yeah.
music right there. To
I saw a
let them
video.
have a little bit of, just desserts.
Mhm. I
I
saw a
don't care
video.
about the Israelis at all.
Yeah, there was
They
a video of,
started
like,
this for
10
the fourth
kids.
time.
Yeah. No, the video that really was heartwarming, there was, like, 10 children just cheering, applauding from Gaza as it destroyed Gaza as the missiles came by to Israel, and it's just completely destroyed land behind them. The kids are all happy, lit up. It
Yeah,
was like, wow,
science for the
like,
win.
this
Turns
is
out
heartwarming.
ballistic missiles is the way to go.
But they're still suffering. Gaza's still stuck
West Bank and
suffering.
Gaza and Syria are suffering, and Yemen barely. They suffered for a long time. They went through a lot of what Gaza went through, but they did it in silence. They were starving. They had 100% tariff slapped on them. The Houthis activated themselves, and they're not just an Iranian proxy. They have their own agency, and they didn't agree to anything so far. So we don't
So, yeah,
know yet. Well, yeah, maybe they'll calm down, maybe not. They probably will, because they only entered. They said, look, if this continues to escalate, and that was the other big threat. If the Red Sea closed, which they proved they could do because the Houthis did that solo. If you remember, America had a little 7-week battle with them, declared victory after losing 3 F-18s, and they just kept firing missiles at Israel. It was a W only on paper. They didn't do anything except lose some planes and kill some civilians. They couldn't open the Red Sea, and they couldn't open the Strait of Hormuz. There was never going to be a Karg Island raid with Marines. They weren't going to mobilize the Kurds. There was never going to be an international armada to open the strait. You can't open the strait, even if you really had destroyed the Iranian Navy, which they haven't. That wouldn't matter, because it's the land batteries that keep it close.
Yeah, I don't think
and
Trump
you can
had
do that
any-
with drones. It's 1,000 miles long.
Yeah, I don't think Trump studied anything, had any idea how Iran worked, like how the system was. He's just like, Jared told me they were going to welcome and overthrow the government after I bombed them. Like, did you look at Iran? Did you look at the mountain region? Did you talk to generals? Did you study this stuff? Clearly,
he thought it would be a Maduro, because the Israelis told him so. They're like, look, after you kill the Ayatollah, they'll collapse. The anti-Iranian, it's like the anti-Castro Cubans. Yeah. No, you bombed a school full of little girls and a hospital and killed the Ayatollah. You unified everyone against you. All you had to do was nothing. Not to help the empire, but the Iranian currency had collapsed. There was calamity and division in the streets. All you had to do was keep the sanctions on and wait it out. But Israel can't do that, because they realize their support in the U.S. is waning. They've lost the youth completely. They've lost the left. They've lost most of the right. Just your dispensationalist Christian weirdo end timers are on their side. You don't want to bring about Jesus Armageddon. That's a small fraction of Christians, and some boomers, addicted to Fox News. No one else. Not only are they not on their side, they adamantly hate them.
Yeah,
because they've seen
hate
for the first time what they've been doing in Gaza, even though they've been doing that. This is the age of cell phones and Telegram, and so you can't hide it anymore. That's why they had a forced sale of TikTok. TikTok did the most damage. It wasn't X, it wasn't Telegram. It was TikTok putting out all these videos, and they panicked to force it to be sold to Larry Ellison, where they can shut it down, but it's too late.
Yeah, I think it's too late. Isn't that crazy how they can just force TikTok to be sold to this ultra Zionist control? And then I think his son just has all these media companies.
Yeah, he buys CBS, and it's ZOM, Zionist Occupation Media. And that's how, they had total control for the first Gulf War, second Gulf War, Syria, Libya, and so on. There was no pushback. You couldn't even say thing on X, because it was Jack Dorsey back then, and he just got rid of you. You couldn't even defend Kyle Rittenhouse without losing your account. You didn't have a far left, preferably gay opinion, then you weren't allowed to speak.
But yeah, the left is you have to be gay, tranny, and the right you have to pledge to Israel. Like, America is just, we have no options. Two just absolutely disgusting parties.
Well, they both pledged to Israel.
You're right.
The thing is, the base on the left is against Israel, but the leadership, they always roll over. Genocide Joe gave the JDAMs dropped on Gaza to Israel. Kamala and Joe Biden. Let's remember, I'm going to put this in perspective about people saying Trump's the worst president ever. Not even close. He's getting the most credit. He sucks.
This war was pretty
not
bad.
Even close. Yeah, he hasn't killed millions of people.
Fair.
He killed thousands of people. That's terrible. He bombed Yemen. He started a war with Iran, which he's basically retreated from. But if you are to put it in perspective, George Bush killed millions.
True. Yeah.
Bill Clinton killed 1 million through sanctions. 100,000 Iraqis died a year under those brutal sanctions. And then Bush invaded Iraq and Afghanistan. 1 million dead there. Horrible president. Obama invaded Libya. Obama started the war in Syria, which killed hundreds of thousands of people, and backed all these ISIS proxies, Aral al-Sham, HTS, as used to be called, Leicester Front. He did that. Joe Biden starts the war in Ukraine with Russia.
Yeah.
And he did the lockdowns, and he sold the weapons during a genocide, which only America could stop. he's giving Israel more billions of dollars and bombs. And Trump just rolled over. He didn't change anything.
Yeah,
so
they're all
it's not like,
absolutely
don't give me this crap like, oh, well, the other party, well, Kamala would have, no, it would have just been the same damn war plus gay. Whoever you vote for, you end
plus
up with
gay.
a
The
Zionist
same war
wacky.
plus gay.
That's
Do you
all
want a
it is.
tranny war or do you
Zionist
want a
occupation government. That's why we call it Epstein Fury. You don't think Biden's
Operation
compromised? He's
Epstein
sniffing
Fury.
little girls' hair on camera. He can't control himself.
Right?
Hunter Biden was on. I mean, his laptop was just full of
Mhm.
prostitutes and drugs and stuff. This is how these people behave. They
Everyone
have
was
no
like,
filter.
yeah, why didn't the Democrats? They would have released it if they had Trump. It's like both sides are in it, you people. Both sides are in it. And it's funny, the Biden thing, because my mom's like a lifelong Democrat. Like a year ago or so, 2 years ago, she's like, oh my God, have you seen all those videos of Biden sniffing kids? It's so creepy. I'm like, you just now seeing this? Like the other side just doesn't see it.
Thing. Where did she finally see it?
Good
Probably
question.
Twitter.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she's on Twitter now.
It wasn't available for her to see if she's only watching television or Facebook or whatever. You know, those are controlled. You know, Zuckerberg or YouTube teams. You know, Sergey Brin's in the Epstein files himself.
Yeah.
So is Mark.
It's the Google people.
Like this is their gang.
It's these guys. Everyone's in Epstein files, and you did a lot of work on Epstein files before the parts of them released. Like you spent years researching it.
First show I did with you.
Yeah,
I had that list out. I put it on a T-shirt. First and last name. Calling billionaires pedophiles. Nobody sued me.
Yeah,
because it was true. I'm like, go ahead, go to Discovery. I dare you. I wish I had that on me. You know, that white map on my door. I put that out 8 years ago. You know, and I had Jean-Luc Brunel and Maxwell and Wexler, the whole thing mapped out. Here's his finances, Glenn Dubin, Jess Staley, boom, 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 boom. The Bronfman family, who also financed the Nexium cult and cavort with Robert Miller, who raped hundreds of little girls. It's just.
So you told me all this
stuff.
They weren't
ready for it. They weren't ready for me. That's why I was banned on everything.
Remember I first talked to you, you're telling me all this stuff, and I started looking it up after. You're like, Epstein was, because no one was talking about Epstein being massaged.
Is that a Bobby Fischer shirt?
Yeah, dope, right? I got it on my fightbackpodcast.com. What's your site, by the way? Because we're self-funded.
Oh, it's RyanDawson.org.
Yeah, you sell awesome merch too. Yeah. He's my favorite chess player.
Yeah, it's my favorite chess player, definitely, like from all time. He's just an interesting dude. I got his books on him and things. It's funny. I'll tell you later. You're on YouTube.
Henry Ford's another one. Absolutely brilliant American. But in reality, he really was. What he's done, you know, the assembly line, he doubled the wages. He wrote a couple good books.
Yeah. I get you.
I like be careful how
Ben Franklin is the founding grandfather. Thomas Paine's another good one. Yeah.
Those are guys that need to look into. So
very interesting character. Yeah.
So
Bobby Fischer, he made up Fischer chess, randomizing in the beginning. I like it.
With the new Epstein drop, was there anything surprising to you, or is it stuff you pretty much already knew? Obviously, they're still holding a lot of files.
I'm surprised. Well, I guess it was their own incompetence or whatever, but they put out some information on the Malaysian sovereign wealth fund theft, of which Edmund de Rothschild Bank was a part of, and that they went to Epstein to manipulate regulators and get a lesser punishment, which he did, and they were able to do. And Ariana de Rothschild is the one going to him. He's not going to them. The Rothschild's going to him. Right? It's all the way around.
It's so wild.
Why? What possible leverage could he have? Now, let me explain this to the people who don't know what's going on. Goldman Sachs had to pay $5 billion for their role in that money laundering gambit. Okay. It's not like Goldman Sachs doesn't have the best lawyers and the most money. Yeah. You know, they can, right? They had to pay $5 billion. The Rothschild Bank
stuff,
75 million. That's it. Why? Because they went to Epstein. Now that should have been a huge story. They're all talking about, they're eating kids on a boat. Like, no, they're not. That people. There's a big difference if you're looking at the file. Like, I'm in the file like 11 times. I didn't do anything. It's just me criticizing them and stuff, but I'm in the Epstein file. when you have internal communications on emails, bragging about stuff they did, that's solid. But if you have just any old report that someone said to the FBI, that's just an accusation. It doesn't have any legs alone. So when someone's like, "Oh, I saw people eating kids on a boat," like, really? What was the name of the boat? What port did it leave from? What year did this happen? Or what day did this happen? How'd you get off the boat? What was its destination? It's like, really? Clinton and Bush were on a boat eating babies? Like, when did they meet on a ship? And where was this ship? And what was the name of the boat? You don't know the name of the boat. It's just claims, and it's got a conspiracy website in the thing. It's just QAnon writing bullshit to the FBI. They marked it like as it's just normal. This is just normal.
Yeah, there's
crap
so many files and they don't explain the difference. Something I did find interesting was the Epstein emails he has between like top scientists of talking about doing a breeding program. He wanted like 20 women pregnant in one. So these are like Epstein emails. And he talked about trying to bring back Neanderthals, and they were sequencing the Neanderthal DNA. And this guy's like a doer, not a talker. So
the CRISPRs, well, his victims had said that he was a eugenicist. He wanted his brain and penis frozen. He was a weird guy,
a little bit of a strange guy. Good old Jeffrey.
I got a friend that they had a lab in Hong Kong, which doesn't have regulations. They were working on bringing back woolly mammoths. That is going to happen. They have stomach cells.
They possibly brought back Neanderthals because they're literally talking about sequencing. And this guy, he had the Neanderthal. He was talking to the guy who had the Neanderthal DNA.
I don't think that's going to happen, but like they talk about it anyway. These people are obsessed with eugenics and bloodlines. They're saying, what % Jew are you? I'm 98 or I'm 95.
That's weird, right? Like, why are they so obsessed with that? I don't like obsessed.
Well, they have a religion that says they're the bloodline of Jacob and superior to all other people in the world. And for people who are confused, like, well, how could, Jewish supremacy, Zionism be a byproduct of that? I'm like, because it's baked into the religion that says they're the chosen race of God. It divides the world into Jew and Gentile. It's not based just on belief. Like Islam and Christianity are based on belief. So if you believe Christ is your savior, basically John 3:16, right? For God to love the world, he gave his only begotten son, who shall believe and shall not perish but have everlasting life. Like if you have those certain tenets, you're a Christian. Doesn't matter what your ethnic group is or whatever. Same thing in Islam. If you believe in there's only one God, Muhammad is his prophet, blah, 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 then you're a Muslim. And then you have different types of Muslims, different types of Christians, but they have a core, like minimal thing, and it's based on belief. Isn't based on blood. Only Hinduism and Judaism have a racial component. And so
I tried.
We were like, "Oh, that's not real Judaism." I'm like, "Yeah, it is. That is exactly what it says. It is is it an intrinsically racist religion?" And of course, you end up with something like Israel, because that's what they think you're dumb goyim. You're cattle.
Yeah, I can't remember the guy's name. One of the government officials just saw a quote. He's like, "Human rights aren't for the Jew," or what did he say? What was it like? Or they don't apply to the Jew. It's just like, or not human rights. What was it? I can't remember the quote. But it was just ridiculous. Basically saying they don't have to follow international law. They can do this because Jews are special. He actually says that. And these people are, all of them, they always say stuff like that. The head rabbi of freaking Chabad Lubavitch basically said our souls are like satanic and filthy. This is the guy every president goes to his grave and prays to it. It's just like, imagine if we said that about
Fisher talking to Epstein about how they have a higher level soul. What about redheaded Jews? Oh, checkmate.
No, they don't have soul, not the redheads.
Just computation all the way down.
Yeah, so many Christians.
They're demonic, man. It's a demonic religion. It really is. Yahweh, it could be, if you just wrote Satan for God, you couldn't tell the difference, because he's always sending plagues and murdering, and he's petty, and it's a barbaric, Bronze Age morality. There's rape, murder, slavery, indentured servitude, animal sacrifice, human sacrifice. It's disgusting.
Yeah. I had a guy come on and break down the Talmud, all stuff in the book, and it got taken down for hate speech. It wasn't being hateful. It was just talking about.
The Talmud's not a book. The Talmud's like a whole shelf full of books.
This kid actually, he understood it pretty well. I guess there's two. I don't understand it very well, but I guess there's two of them. It was written over hundreds of years.
The Torah is just as bad. I mean, the Old Testament, which almost everyone is familiar with in the U.S., just look at it. It's disgusting. There.
Is that we're allowed to go there and bash that on YouTube, but we can't go too hard on the Talmud. That's the difference. We can go and make fun of Muslims, Islam. I just want equal rights.
Make fun of Christianity too. You can really go. You can like it's the weirdest thing. You can criticize all but one religion. But that's that Kevin Alfred Strom / Voltaire. Strom said to learn who rules over you, see who you're not allowed to criticize. Voltaire is a little bit more elegant. He said, to learn who has power, look not to the thrones, but to the names you dare not whisper.
Well, for people that don't know, you really suffered. You were one of the original people speaking up like over a decade ago, right? And your banks were canceled, your
2.5 decades
everything.
Ago. 2.5 decades ago, 25 years ago.
Yeah, no,
I got kicked off MySpace, man. 2005.
MySpace. I thought that was the one good place. No, I really appreciate guys like you that suffered so many years.
I got kicked off AOL. Of course, I lost Facebook and YouTube and all that stuff, and PayPal and AdSense and LiveLeak and Daily Motion, Discord, Twitter, Instagram, all the big things I've been removed from, but also Coinbase, Google AdSense, Gumroad, GoFundMe, Kickstarter, any platform where you could get Stripe, like where you could get paid online. They kicked me off, including crypto exchanges.
So they make it extremely difficult for you to make a living. They want to absolutely destroy you.
Yeah, they put me on Israeli TV as a neo-Nazi.
Yeah. And you're not hateful.
Like my grandparents fought the Nazis. Yeah, no, I'm not a neo-Nazi at all. I have a nuanced position on World War II. I don't think there were any good guys in that war. Like I think Stalin was bad. I think Hitler was bad. I think Churchill was bad. I mean, it's just like getting poor people to kill each other. That's what most wars are. I understand the German position after the Treaty of Versailles and their lands have been annexed, and I get it, but they went a little bit more than that. Thing is, it's not true, but they called me a neo-Nazi on Israeli TV. CBS News called me a Holocaust denier. This is like when I'm in my 20s, and I don't even have social media to defend myself.
Yeah, because they take away your ability to. It's just funny timing. I interviewed Nick today too. I know you guys don't get along, but you were before Nick. But you guys talk about him. How they
was banned for like 3 years. I was banned for 2 decades. Like
baby stuff.
Yeah, he's a noob. Sorry, and listen. He has faced a lot of censorship, but then again, he says a lot of outrageous shit. He did support Stalin. He did have a pro-Hitler phase. He is a fucking race realist and all that. It's like he actually does break the terms of service. Now, I disagree with that. I think you should have free speech to be able to say what you want. But he did break all the rules. I didn't, and I still got banned.
So he pushes way more than you, and he has more outrageous positions. I think he's been really good on Iran, but he's definitely
pushed more than me. Like I uncovered Epstein, I uncovered 9/11, I uncovered JFK and RFK. Nick's a commentator that just says he just agitates people with outrageous shit. Like I don't think that's impressive at all. He just dropping the N-word now and then and just say it's whatever. You're not giving them any new information. You're saying this sucks, that sucks. Like that's not really pushing the envelope.
But you actually look for information. So there's
dig up the Epstein file. Like that's the most damaging thing ever to this administration. Like that hurts them. He sold a quarter zip and was telling people it's not really rape for 16, 14-year-olds to have sex with 52-year-olds. And then went on this long thing about how Catholics used to marry 14-year-olds. Like, and says, they did. And 20% of them died in childbirth too, because you're not supposed to be having kids that young. It's fucked up, dude. Fuck Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, me and him, we got in a beef over that, but then we dropped it and decided to.
Yeah, but I didn't. I'm like, dude,
it's totally
it is. It absolutely is rape to fuck a 14-year-old.
We went at it. I was very angry over this, but
well, maybe I don't like being compared to him because I am not him at all. I do not advocate the rape of children. You're not trying to justify having sex with little kids. Fuck that little bastard. He just does a disservice because it suddenly becomes all pro-Palestine when he said to me in a debate, he didn't give a fuck about Palestine. He's okay with imperialism. He supported the war against Venezuela and Greenland. He's okay with doing the killing as long as it's in America's interest instead of Israel's. I'm like, no, murdering innocent people's wrong, even if it's your team.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. That's why Nick got in a fight. But I think he's been great in it around, so I decided to bury the hatchet. But no, I definitely didn't like all the decisions on Nick. But
I don't like, well, he got censored too. Like, no, we are not the same. at all.
Yeah. Okay,
I've not
Justin,
advocated those positions. I have never been pro Epstein. I didn't make money selling quarter zips. Like, I don't think these kind of jokes or whatever are funny. I don't
didn't
think
like
they're
the
jokes.
quarter zip either. That's what.
If you dig in to the birthplace of Nick, which is Poll from 4chan, that was started by Epstein and Peter Thiel. So of
Really?
course he defends them.
Did you know that
You
Reddit
know that
was
story? Yeah.
No, Joe, tell me about that. So that Peter Thiel and who did you say?
Jeff Epstein.
Really?
Yeah.
And then with Reddit, they were the top moderators, not Epstein, but did you
That
know
was Maxwell.
Maxwell?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's crazy how they
Epstein, choose, and they want toxic opposition. And this is the thing, I'm gonna step on a bunch of toes here, but they have two ways to just poison the well. One is just utterly toxic people like Nick. So you're pro-Palestine and then you praise Stalin in the same breath. That's just fucking stupid. The other is the Candace Owens, Alex Jones route, where you just kookify everything, where you'll take a real event and just dump so much crazy on it that you sound like a complete retard. And that's why you feel like, oh, well, Candace is she's pro-Palestine now. She finally woke up to that in her 30s, like a little late. But then she'll say stuff like Bridget Macron has a penis, even though she had 3 biological kids. Because hey, a child photo of her looks like her brother based on Chinese face recognition software. Like, ooh, she's a woman. She denies the moon landing. She's just all over the map with stuff. She thinks science is the cult of Satan. Like, come on. There's no Egyptian plane. There was no French assassins in maroon shirts. And it just makes it impossible to get to the bottom of what happened with Charlie Kirk. I think they farmed out to a faggot on the roof. The Israelis wanted him gone because he was going off script. He did have cohorts, we know, because they were bragging about what was about to happen the day before it happened. But I'm not even going to fuck with it until Candace Owens has calmed down and that storm has passed, because they're all just like, it's impossible. Andrew Clovitz said this and that. And I'm like, okay, I don't have the energy to deal with another kook movement.
Yeah, no,
and that's what they do, is they'll get people on your side that ain't on your side, because they're either so crazy or so toxic that it's kind of, it was Nietzsche, to paraphrase Nietzsche, is like, nothing hurts your argument more than a moron arguing on your behalf. And that's what you got.
It does push a lot.
Nick's not a moron. He doesn't. He just wants attention. Dude's a total attention whore, and will say anything outrageous because it knows like that's clickbait. If he says like outrageously sexist stuff, then that'll work. Outrageously racist stuff, that'll work. He knows how to trigger people. But whenever he goes on a major platform, he cools it way the fuck down, because he desperately wants to be reformed and recognized and go normal.
Yeah, with Candace, I would counter with, okay, I agree with some of the stuff, but maybe she's putting like housewives and stuff to be anti-Israel. Isn't that a positive?
No,
that's why I never attacked her. Well, she's putting people in the right direction.
What housewives think. Like, it doesn't. You could be pro-Palestine and not say all the crazy stuff.
Well, you could.
Like when she had Norman Finkelstein on her show, that's the best thing she could do. Get someone on that knows what they're talking about, and then you just shut up and let them talk. That's what you should do. But she does. She's just saying one dumb thing after another, and she makes our side look. It discredits us.
Yeah, I don't. Really
it isn't like a little bit crazy. It's way out there.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that much of her stuff. I just usually don't attack people that are pro-Palestine, anti-Israel. I understand why you do, though. I understand your perspectives, but I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to attack people.
She just does it for the money. She said Bridget Macron had a penis, and she got 7.5 million views on YouTube. And she realized she's not that dumb. She knows that's not true. She says it anyway because it works. Because the algorithm will favor you if you push kook stuff. Alex Jones knows that too. Alex Jones is not dumb. He's not. He's not crazy. He just says crazy shit because it makes you money.
It's more views. Well, I think Candace, she goes for women, so they want more of a soap opera. They want like these, soap opera storylines.
If you're trying to change the world, you don't aim at women.
Yeah, no, you're right. But
I mean, there's nothing more of a waste of time than talking to donkeys and housewives. Like,
yeah, they probably shouldn't be able to vote, but
they
can.
Oh, I aimed at the lowest common denominator. I'm like, what do they know? They know nothing. They think that you're following around Erica Kirk on an Egyptian plane. Okay, when you want to surveil someone, you just tap their phone. You don't physically follow them around in an airplane.
You don't need to follow them around. How about
God damn,
Eric
dude. There's no exploding microphone. There was no shooter from behind. There's no, like, she had every theory ever except the faggot on the roof who's on fucking film holding a rifle. I mean, god damn, he did it.
Do you think there was more people involved or just him? You think he had like?
Oh yeah, they had Confederates. Like this, he didn't just wake up and do that by himself. And we know because they were bragging about it beforehand. They like, watch what's going to happen at my school tomorrow. Like I saw that. I have screenshots of the Discord conversations and stuff.
Wow.
It because I got people in there, and it's very reminiscent of what they did with the Buffalo shooter and other shooters, where they groom some weirdo because they're expendable. You never put a Mossad agent on the roof. That's stupid.
Like an MK.
Why would you do that? Like that's so much risk. Usually they outsource to organized crime. But there's a new phase where they no longer even need to do that. It's so easy to reach like disgruntled teenagers in early 20s through things like Discord that you can find some Manchurian style moron that you can groom and encourage and entice. You know, you'll be the man. You see these kids, they're like, yo, chat, hey, chat, like they're addicted to chat.
Yeah, they don't have any
mentioning names, but you know, people like, hey, chat. Everything they do is dictated by their little narcissistic audience. Chat tells them what they.
I was with a streamer and he kept doing that. I'm like, what is going on here? Hey, yo, chat. I was like, what is this?
Dude, yeah. I mean, but everything they do is geared to this audience that, you know, the first thing they do afterward is they went to their chat. Tyler too, he goes to his little chat. Look. You know, he wants the infamy of their little world. And it's these, usually you can profile these people, these school shooters and stuff. They're like lonely incel bums. Their whole life is online. And that little chat room of a lot of people they've never even met, that's their whole world. That's who they live to impress. They go down in infamy to that because they don't exist outside. They're invisible.
Yeah, no, I think they're struggling. They have nothing, so they take advantage. A lot of them are on the psych drugs too, right? I don't know if this last guy was, but
Lance Twiggs was on all the drugs. He's a furry, homosexual furry dating a trans, a man in transition, which just means a gay retard. That means somebody that's gay and thinks they're a woman. Like, you can change your name, you can wear women's clothing, you can be gay, it's fine, but you're not actually a woman. That's where you cross the line into crazy, where you think you can just will reality into existence. Where you're like, well, I was meant to be this, so I am. Like, no, you've got Y chromosomes. You're a dude.
Yeah, we're on YouTube. I don't know if we're allowed to say it's a mental illness. So, yeah,
I won't say it's a mental illness. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
it's you're playing pretend and you're trying to force everybody else to do it with you. If you want to pretend to be a girl, as long as you know you're pretending, okay, but you can't make the whole town go along with it.
Yeah, I've lived in these liberal cities and people trying to act like this, it's just completely idiotic. I could never play along. But then when you say
they're afraid that it's a
privately, they agreed with me. Yeah, people were going along with it for a while. They've kind of stopped now, but they're trying to act like it. I'm like, you people are out of your mind. I'm not gonna. If you accept that, you'll accept anything.
They put male rapists in female prisons where they then rape prisoners with their penis.
That's where they want to be. Oh, a female prison? Perfect. That when I saw that, I'm like, these people are sick, deranged. People are like, why do you care about this issue? Like, it is a big deal.
One of the biggest punishments of prison is separating you from females.
Yeah. If you're in there with all women.
Staying in a cage, free meal, whatever, like you could work but no women for years, that's the real punishment.
If I ever get sent to prison, I'm definitely claiming I'm a woman.
Oh, yeah. Why not?
The girls probably aren't that hot in there, though.
It reached that. We were at peak clown. And again, to put it in perspective, I don't like Donald Trump at all. But Harris and Biden, I mean, goddamn, dude, they're letting men and women's sports and stuff. They had all the war and all the same stuff. Although his tariff policy is plumb retarded. Like, that's all him. They weren't doing that. But
Howard Lutnick was pushed that, and then he got shorts against it. Did you see that? Or his son?
Of course. He benefited from September 11th, too.
Did he?
He Cantor and Fitzgerald. Oh, yeah. He's been a profiteering little goblin his whole life. His brother died on 9/11.
He probably knew. He probably wanted him to die because he could take over the business.
he doesn't, that carrot guy, he only cares about himself. He brought children, his own and another family's children, to a known sex offender's private island.
Yeah, I would never
And
bring
then
my
lied
children.
about it. Oh, I broke off my relations with Epstein, and he didn't.
He's such a disgusting ghoul. The way he's always behind Trump laughing and giggling, I just can't stand that guy. And he's also the guy, we bought a bunch of Bitcoin. He's the guy
He's the
that
one in his ear telling him, go ahead, bomb Iran, it'll be fine.
Mhm. Trump just has the worst people around him. I don't think he really like pays attention. I think he puts these people around him. They tell him the information. He goes on Truth Social. He's not even on Twitter anymore. So I think he watches Fox News. So he's isolated from reality.
Getting banned from Twitter was a blessing, because if he wasn't there, people could comment. And it's better for him not to have to deal with that. Trump just surrounds himself with whoever blows smoke up his ass.
Mhm.
He is a megalomaniac, ego, just the new level of narcissism. You know, how like Lou Gehrig's disease, or ALS, was named after the baseball player. It should be like this level of narcissism should just be called Donald Trump. Like, it should name it Trumpism or something, because I've never seen it. I've never seen anyone that needs attention and praise more than him.
Constantly be praised. Like, I hate it when I get too much attention and stuff. It's like weird,
like
awkward.
Never seen before.
You see when they were trying to act like he was Jesus? Like,
well, Netanyahu acted like he was God. Said he sent the 10 plagues to Iran, like killing the firstborn children. You know, open up by blowing up schools and things.
That was sick at the schools, by the way. That just really sickened me and pissed me off.
Double tap, and that was a Tomahawk. That was a Tomahawk Block 4. Only the U.S. has Tomahawk. I mean, Japan, I guess, has Tomahawks, but it wasn't them. It was America that hit that school, and they blamed it on Iran. Hegseth said it's under investigation, but Trump's like, we think Iran did that. Iran didn't do it. You did it, and you did a double tap, and they hit schools after that.
It's just sick.
And they hit hospitals after that.
They care about Iranian women, and then they bomb women's schools. It's just sick, demonic.
They don't care. They said the same thing about Afghanistan. Oh, this is for women's rights. Oh, give me a break. Like, no, it isn't. It was not.
The entire war was a complete embarrassment. People died, billions, thousands, I don't know, thousands, I'm sure, of Iranians, right? I don't know how many American soldiers, hundreds of billions of actually, lots of billions of dollars lost just for nothing.
They may have been hundreds of Americans. They're saying like 24. Like,
I have a feeling it's going to be more. I hope I'm wrong. But.
Billions were lost from the Gulf was losing $1 billion a day.
The economy was hurt. Gas, people could barely afford a gas in the U.S. I've had two people just yesterday was like, don't have gas, barely have gas money to get to work.
Yeah. Well, look how much worse it was in Europe and Asia. I mean, Philippines, Vietnam, and Australia were teetering. And it's not just gas. It's not just gasoline. It's not just oil. It's the petrochemicals. But you also have to look at the imports were closed. The Gulf imports 80% of its food. Fortunately, so many people left the UAE that even with that reduction, they didn't have food shortages because nobody's there. All the tourists from Dubai, Abu Dhabi, they're gone.
All the influencers left Dubai.
Yeah, all the crypto bros and OnlyFans whores had to scat, had to get to running. But
Dubai's the worst place. It's all a bunch of prostitutes and gold diggers. I hate Dubai so much. And they like
Dubai is not. It's just one section of Dubai. They here. I don't know, but.
Yeah,
it's a look. Slavery ended in Oman in 1970. So progressive, and I said that correctly. 1970. That's when they ended slavery. 1971, the UAE is created, and they reinstitute slavery. Now it's illegal on paper, but
yeah, they bring in the Indians and they take their passports, and it's like I've seen it with my own eyes, and you're like, wow,
slavery. They end it in the next year. They just invent a new country and they reconstitute it.
Yeah, people that haven't traveled the world don't realize slavery is alive today.
It is.
Maybe not quite 100%, but very close.
China has slaves. North Korea has slaves. And in a way, slavery is a spectrum. You don't have like chattel slavery in the US that is illegal, but some of the sweatshop labor that US companies have is damn near slavery serfdom. They just outsource this offshore slavery. So they'll just have slaves build their iPhones and stuff somewhere else, and then say, well, it wasn't done in the US, so we didn't break the laws. But sweatshops are on the slavery spectrum, in my opinion.
And you never really see photos of those or videos of anything of that. I just realized, like, occasionally you'll see the factory farms, but you're like, what do these places even look like? I bet some of these factories are so crammed in, insane amounts of
Yeah,
hours.
and that's another topic. Like about 80% of antibiotics are for livestock, not for people. And so you've got big pharma and stuff have a vested interest in keeping the conditions that are not necessary, because like other countries don't have to do this.
Yeah.
But these where they cram chickens together and like with the way they box in cows for veal and all this stuff, it's not necessary. But by packing them in like that, you create an artificial demand for antibiotics that you would not need had you not done that to the animals.
So you build the tolerance without taking antibiotics.
So they like if you just spaced it out, they wouldn't be getting all these diseases and things anyway, So this really inhumane conditions on factory farms. And they do stuff too, is because of the law. They have all this like animal testing and stuff that doesn't have scientific validity. With Johnson and Johnson dropping shampoo and rabbit eyeballs and stuff, like it doesn't roll over to people. But there's such a belief, like we want it tested on animals, but animals are very different from us, so you can't really rely on that.
Put it in their eyes for no reason, and the factory farming is just
well, the reason is it's such just part of the list of steps you have to go through to get things certified. But it's you got to really look at it and be like, well, does that have scientific validity? I understand testing things on lab rats and stuff and all, and it kind of goes up the animal chain. But if you really look at it, you could just use gingers. Like you could skip all those steps.
You and gingers.
No, but like it's not really valid. And I'm not one bleeding heart. Like I eat animals. I don't really care, but I just like it's a waste of money and it shouldn't be done. So.
No, and just like,
and I care about animals enough. Like, dude, they shouldn't have to live like that. You don't need to pack them in like that.
Treat them there should be regulations in how they treat them, because it's just living under misery, drugs. Like I feel like you're putting that misery in your body. Do they have more regulation in Japan?
There are some regulations, not like China. You want to see some horror show?
Yeah, dogs too. But even I was just traveling.
Skin them alive.
The eggs taste so much better, like in Vietnam than in America. It's like it's just real. It's not these
you have
like
bananas, best bananas.
Oh yeah, everything without the smoothies, the fruit. The food is just fresher. You feel better after eating it. So it's like you realize there must be so many additives and stuff in the food in America, and it's hard not eating it because it's in everything.
Yeah, I lived in Asia since when did I move? 2005 when I started getting censored and everything. I was in Japan for 17 years. I was back in the U.S. for like 2.5 years, and then back to Japan, then Korea. It is night and day. As someone that has not just visited, but lived in America, lived in Japan, lived in South Korea, and I visited all these other Asian places. It really is like elves versus orcs. Like you go, to quote PewDiePie, like when the first time you return to the U.S., you sit down on a cold toilet, and you're just like, man, where's my heated seat and my bidet?
So great in Japan. Remember when I first time I left the country was Japan to fight. I was just like, wow, these toilets are amazing. The super.
I think if you did a poll, high-end Japanese toilet, normal American girl,
take the toilet.
Yeah, it's like
heated bathroom floors in some places. I think that was
warm water nut massage. Like they have it all.
Yeah,
and I'm not like you're on the toilet every day. Like that ought to be an investment, right? Get a good one.
I didn't realize how valuable a toilet was till I was in Japan.
Yeah,
light years ahead of America. Japan, I haven't been there in a long time, actually, like a decade.
I kind of take it for granted. South Korea, same thing. It's only when I go and visit the orcs and I just sit on like a regular public toilet on like a cold slab of porcelain. I'm like, this is so primitive. We ball up paper and like, what the fuck?
It makes me want to go buy a real toilet. I remember, the first time in Japan, just being shocked. Like, wait, this is what a toilet's supposed to be like.
Yeah, well, this is what a parking garage is like. This is what like a lot of things are like. It's just.
Why can't we adapt?
I remember Charlie Kirk, actually, he came to Korea and Japan right before he died. He flew into Incheon and he comes out and he sees a CU, which is like a convenience store in Korea. And there's all these bags. People just leave their bags outside and they go shopping, come out and get their bag. And he couldn't believe it. He's like, they just leave their bag and walk away. I'm like, yeah, you can do that in Asia. No one's going to touch your bag.
Your bike, you literally just leave
it. You could put your phone, a camera, your wallet, right there on the bench, nobody would touch it.
Yeah, 100% true.
Went to Seoul. Seoul has these like giant air-filled couches and stuff. Kids jump on them like trampolines and things. And he was like genuinely sad. He's like, this wouldn't last 35 seconds. I'm like, yeah, someone take a knife and pop it just to be an asshole. I know. But we don't have those type of people in Asia. You froze a bit there. Oh well, I guess I'm going solo until the stream kicks in. This could be a StreamYard issue.
Oh shit, I just lost
there
you
you
for
are.
a second.
Yeah, pause. I just kept talking shit.
Now I see you. Fuck.
What's going on? NSA get angry? This is what we're saying. Guarantee you it's not on my end. It's the internet in the US. Well, I'll just read this list. Uh-oh. All right, he dropped. I don't know if you can hear me or what, but we were talking cultural differences.
Hello.
There you're back. NSA get you?
Thanks for keeping the show going for me. I don't know what happened.
I was worried about black helicopters. I don't know if they could hear me either. I wasn't sure, but it's like
Ryan
talking
Dawson
about
like
Kirk coming to Seoul. Yeah, and they had this like big pink couch and kids were jumping on it, and he was very genuinely sad. He said this wouldn't last 35 seconds in any city in America. Seoul's a huge city too. Any city in America, if you did that, boom, it would pop. And you froze again. Oh man. Because I can't say Charlie's name. Maybe I don't know what it is. Maybe I can't say that guy's name. Certain person, who got it in the neck, was in Seoul. And he saw these inflatable couches that kids were jumping on and enjoying. And he realized that wouldn't last 35 seconds in America. Someone would pop it with a knife or whatever. And like, yeah.
There's tons of stuff like that. You see just this beautiful stuff like out in the streets in these places, and no one messes with it. And they don't even have strict laws. Like in Singapore, they do, but they don't in Japan. It's like it's just a respect
or
culture.
Vietnam. Yeah. Or Macau, or
Hong Kong.
Shocked
at, like how nice Vietnam was. It's like everything was clean. They had pride. They were building nice stuff.
No, don't tell them.
I didn't want to come home. I'm just like,
the worst thing in Vietnam is the tourist.
Yeah, Vietnam sucks.
Yeah,
go to Thailand.
Yeah. You don't want to go to Japan. Yeah, the food's bad. Yeah, don't come.
Yeah, try Thailand. Go there.
Yeah, go to Thailand. That's what I tell everyone. Anybody that's in for that sex tourism, just go to Thailand. You will be disappointed if you come to Korea, Japan, because they have more money than you do. Like, that ain't gonna happen. But the sakura are out right now. The cherry blossoms all over the place. It's lovely. Like, infrastructure works. Mass transit works. You can sleep on the train. No one's going to come up behind you and stab you like they did in North Carolina. You don't have to worry about that because they don't have female activist judges that let mental patients out repeatedly with like 14 to 100 offenses or whatever. That doesn't happen. You break the law, especially in South Korea, you go to jail. They put the president in jail. President Yoon is in prison.
Some streamer was acting a fool and he got like punched in the face and went to jail.
Little Johnny Somali is going to prison April 15th. I've been going to all his hearings and messing with him. I wore a shirt of him behind bars holding a cabbage. I threw it at him last time I saw him. He's like, "That's assault." I was like, "Nah, you just can't catch." He's going to jail 3 years or more, registered sex offender, and he has hard labor in jail, and he doesn't go to the foreigners jail. He's going to the Korean jail, and he can't speak Korean. Yeah.
Koreans crap. They got pretty good fighters and stuff out of Korea.
Oh, yeah. Well, I went to Sexyama's Steakhouse. If you ever come over here, we'll go together.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
I fought him, but I would hang out with him. Dude was...
he didn't care. Yeah. Good judo, by the way.
An awesome guy. Like,
good thing there's no gi in the UFC.
A true judo master, that guy. Like an absolute
swift.
Judo. He threw me
His
the most
parents were my babysitters.
Wow, that was beautiful.
Oh yeah, I saw that throw. I think
all right, I gotta get up and win the fight. But like the throw was just beautiful. I'm like, wow, that was perfect.
Again, like if there wasn't a mat, if that was just the floor, that might have been it.
Yeah, but kind of the way he throws, though, it's almost like they don't smack you into it because you can roll them through. They just do those perfect like boop, because in jiu-jitsu it's like judo match over right there.
Yeah. Well, the
No,
point
he's
of it, it's like
brilliant.
it's actually more graceful to throw someone and not hurt them. That's total control. You know?
Yeah, I trained with another judo silver medalist, American guy, but he was way more aggressive, different style. The Akiyama's is beautiful judo. He's maybe the Asian style. When someone's
I
truly a
trained with
master at something,
Ozawa. He got fourth, which there's a lot of fourth places in the Olympics or whatever, but big dude, heavyweight judoka, and nobody wanted to do it. I was like, I'm not delusional, but I gotta do this. And I got slammed pretty hard, but it was worth it. Worth the experience.
train with anyone that's like the best in the world at a sport is just a true master of something. It's so cool about that. Wrestling Olympic champion, judo, Gordon Ryan in jiu-jitsu. Just something special about that.
It is. It's like, why not? I mean, we had Greg Thompson was in our Team Rock in Carolina, and then the Machados and Eddie and da-da-da-da. It's fun. Like, why not?
Yeah, no, it's like I said, martial arts, it's like an art form. When you're the guy who's at the top, it's like he's a true artist. I trained a lot with Gordon Ryan, and that's like definitely an artist. So you train with Machado. I always wanted to train with Jean-Jacques Machado.
Oh, that'd be nice. Yeah. Well, defend naked chokes. Like
he's like half his hands gone, right? But he still is a world champion. So impressive.
Who wouldn't? I understand not going in with an elite striker because it's kind of all or nothing. But for grappling, it's all right. Yeah.
That's a little different. Elite striker, you might get knocked out. But hold on, let me close. Like an echo. I'm at like my home studio instead of the main studio. The TV is on the other room. But yeah, no, going to the boxing gyms, they try to knock you out. MMA guys are usually nicer sometimes, unless it's like Sean Strickland. But those boxing gyms, they'll try to like those dudes go in there and try to fight you. Got in a few fights.
Yeah.
In boxing gyms.
Well, it's you can't kind of strike. You either do it or you don't. So you got to be way above someone's level to just play with them. So there's a lot of people that are like they're too good to play with. They're not good enough to go full on with. So you just got to match them up with someone on their level or slightly above. Like the most dangerous person is like a high level white belt because they don't have control. Like they're the ones that hurt people the most and get hurt the most. Seems like.
Especially if they're big. It's like a big white belt. They like smashing around, spazzing. But yeah, with sparring though, it's like you definitely don't want to come in new and ask a really good guy to spar because they might take that as an insult and like knock you out. John Strickland.
Yeah, it just like know your role, as The Rock says. Like know your role.
Yeah, if
it's fun if you're humble. You just don't go full tilt. You're there to learn. You're just gonna burn through your energy and stuff. Jiu-jitsu is pretty good because it's inevitable that you're gonna get humbled over and over again in practice. Even if you're better, sometimes you lose to somebody that just
yeah, it's the most
one out of 30 they get you. It happens.
It's makes you. There's nothing more. I think every man should train jiu-jitsu or wrestle, do something like this. It just totally changes your outlook on life. Remember the first day you went in and trained? Was it just like shocking or?
I don't know when I guess the first formal lesson I had was it was a private lesson with a karate master. And
really?
So I mean he just had me hit the bag for 3 minutes just to like see where I was or whatever, and then we did some training, but there was no sparring or anything yet. I had so many fights just with I got a twin brother, a little brother, 5 step brothers, so like whatever. But I loved it. I loved that. I loved judo. I trained with Don Tyrell, and then jiu-jitsu with the Machados. I've had a bunch of different. I was on Team Parasha in Japan, and
you still train in Japan?
I kept moving. Different Team Rock in North Carolina. Vince Bourdin in Virginia, all over the place. And then
you build a whole network around the world. Just being in the jiu-jitsu gyms, you can go anywhere around the world and make friends instantly.
Yeah, well, I had my own gym. I had my own gym in North Carolina for a while, for 2 years. And we would get people in from Florida, from wherever, and just like they want somewhere to roll. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like, what are you? What's your rank? Okay, go. We did no gi, but still you need some rank. Like what would you be? kind of thing.
Yeah, you get an
And you
idea
can
what
go
people are.
anywhere. And like, even if I'm on vacation, I'm like, is there a jujitsu gym around here? Like, that's what I want to do. Like, it's new
Exactly. You go
people. It's because you get
instantly.
sick of the same, you want a fresh person who has a little bit different style, a little bit different attack. So
Well,
it's
also it's a
really
great
fun.
way when you're traveling, you'll meet people that'll show you around, show you local spots, and it's just
That's right.
a lot of people don't have like a whole network and community in life, and jiu-jitsu is such a great way to do that. You know, people watching, if you don't
Yeah,
train jiu-jitsu,
when I
I
hear
know
someone does
you
jujitsu, even if they've done it for like 1 year, whatever, it's like we're gonna be friends because
can choke people out
it's
together.
it's a certain personality type that can stick with it. Because a lot of people come in 1 month or 2 and quit. They just can't. That's fine. Not every. I mean, different sports for different people.
It's
I
it's the
probably wouldn't
first
last
6
long
months
playing
is the
tennis. I'm
hardest.
just not that interested. I know it's
Well,
hard. I know it's a high skill and all, but I don't care.
I always wanted to be able to beat people up. So that to me, and once I got humbled, sparred Chuck Liddell, that was humiliating. So I thought I was pretty damn good. I thought I was a great fighter. And Chuck, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna beat this guy's ass. That was just
Well,
such
he
a humble
was,
experience.
for a
A bigger
time,
deal.
losing to Chuck Liddell is not a
It
big
was,
deal.
yeah, but instantly that's when right away I just started like pestering him, following him around, getting him to train me. Like when you see someone's a master in something, for me, it's like I want to learn from this guy.
Mhm.
And a lot of people don't
Yeah, I
have
was
that.
like, I got hooked probably when I was like 6 years old watching Bruce Lee. And so we set up an obstacle course in our yard, like buckets of sand, and I had the pads out there kicking them like Van Damme, trying to hold my leg up straight and stuff. This
I used
from
to watch Van
Kickboxer,
Damme.
right? I was watching Kickboxer. I was like, all right, we got a yard. So we set all that up and we put out ropes and stuff and trained on flexibility. We didn't hit each other with coconuts or anything,
Mhm.
but like train. I did not know how rare that was to be able to hold your foot up like that. I thought that's what you had to do. And so I was like, I can kick. Well, I used to be able to kick really well. And I had
Mhm.
no clue until like UFC and all these things came out, and almost no one can do
Yeah,
that.
you're like,
And
"Wait,
actually,
I didn't did
nobody
you do
can.
that?"
And I was like, oh, it was just Jean, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was
But
my
he had a
inspiration.
background in ballet. That's what gave him that
Mhm.
flexibility, and it's genetics. Like certain people, it's your hip joints and stuff. Like you can or you can't. But people
Yeah.
don't train flexibility the way they train weightlifting. Weightlifting,
Mhm.
first of all, you can notice it faster and stuff, and there's
Mhm.
ways to cheat. You can just take steroids, whatever. Flexibility, there is no shortcut. You can't just stretch for 10 minutes. You got to like 5 times a day. It's not like once a day or, and then a couple off days, whatever. They've
Mhm.
got the weight training down. But flexibility, I had to read books from Bill
Yeah.
Superfoot Wallace and people like I saw that could do it, and people who do things like ballet and stuff where you need extreme flexibility because they definitely figured out what to do.
Yeah.
But the gym bros and stuff, they don't really know that, and their kicking sucks. Like they have to sling up their head kicks. They can't really
Mhm.
do it. And I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna be one of them. I was a big Van Damme fan. So
Yeah, no, I would say that was the biggest flaw I had. I dedicated my whole life to mastering martial arts, but I didn't put a ton of effort and time into stretching, and I should have, 'cause everything else I spent so much time, effort, finding every little detail, but I
I think
neglected
that's
the
Eddie
technique.
Bravo's like one of his plus and BJ Penn too. Like these guys are like Gumby.
Yeah,
And
part of
I
naturally,
mean
part of it's
Eddie's
stretching.
older now, but he could even still like that
Mhm.
to the rubber guard, if you're not flexible, that isn't for you. Like you
Yeah,
need to
yes,
have flexibility or that isn't gonna work.
or you'll blow your knee
So
out. So I tell guys, don't do every
right.
guard unless
Like
you're really
you
flexible.
can't,
You
yeah,
blow your
exactly.
knee.
But if you have flexibility, that is a
Mhm.
great weapon. I mean,
Yeah,
but you
if
gotta
someone's
get
good
that
at the
first.
rubber guard, it's great. If they're not, it's like, don't do that.
I think the same thing with kicking. If you can't kick, don't.
Yeah, no, I
Because
agree.
you're
You
just
get
gonna break your shin. If you go in there throwing like hard roundhouses, they're just gonna
Mhm.
check your kick. You're gonna break your shin or your ankle or something. You gotta harden that up.
Yeah.
But if you're really coordinated with your legs, and you don't have to be Van Damme level, but like if you're closer to that, then man, it's such an advantage because you just pop up. You don't even have to rear back. You can hit them with your front leg. I rarely see any front leg kicks in UFC
Yeah. Yeah.
ever.
You know,
Like
he's a real master, Lyoto Machida. I was just visited him in Florida, went by his house and trained. He's just
I just about said that. I was gonna say Machida and
yeah,
Thompson,
I was
like they
just
can
so
do it.
impressed with some of the stuff he was showing me. Like, wow, I wish I would have known this when I was fighting. Like the way he was throwing his teep, the speed in it, it's different than the
Well, he's
type.
throwing front kicks. It's different
Yeah,
than a teep.
because
You're not pushing, you're snapping. Yeah.
yeah, the way he was exactly the speed. It was like And then I went and messing around sparring, and I was just tearing people up. And I'm not like in shape or anything. I'm like, wow, this is like amazing. Controls the
If you
ring.
can get a good ball of the foot snapping front kick with the front leg, you can just knock the wind out of somebody. Just it doesn't have to be like this.
Exactly. Bop, bop. And the back
I made
ones
a
are
video
powerful.
about this. I got so mad. I'm like, why isn't anybody utilizing this? And a few weeks after that, they did, because Anderson Silva and Leo Machida started knocking people out with front kicks. They knocked out Vitor
Vitor
Belfort,
Belfort,
Ryan Bader,
Randy
someone
Randy
else.
Couture, he did the
Randy
karate
Couture.
kid
Oh
jump.
yeah, well that was kind of a scissor kick front kick,
It
but
was kind of
whatever.
a skipping
Yeah.
or not
He
teep.
went in with the right knee and hit him with the left because he's left-legged and left-armed, left-handed, whatever. But it was just like, yeah, that's devastating, and it made me mad. People like the teep in Thailand is to push them away because they love their very roundhouse. They love because you can hit people harder with a roundhouse. It feels better. But if you hit someone in a vital spot with a front kick should be like the jab of kicking.
I worked with Leo Machida, and I was just like, oh my god, I wish I was doing this when I was fighting. It was just game changing. Like,
it's karate. Like that's where like he's so unorthodox. I'm like, he's the most orthodox. What are you talking about?
he made crowd, because we used to laugh at karate, but he came in with a vengeance, just terrorizing people.
Well, kickboxing is karate.
Look
It's
this guy
just the
up.
sport version of karate. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, he's
it's
a true master.
Get Benny Urquidez, get watch these guys, Bill Wallace too. I mean, it's just what happened, in my opinion, is people started nut hugging wrestling, and the reason is wrestling's free in public school.
Yeah.
And it's like a 1A versus a AAA school. The larger pool of people you have doing something, the odds of having a great athlete are higher, right? So if you made judo and karate and jiu-jitsu free and put it in school, you'd have a lot better athletes. They have to go pay for that privately. And what happened in the US, and this happened to Taekwondo, Tang Soo Do, all that stuff, is it belt inflation. It just became a business, and they're teaching kids, and they get a brown belt to a 9-year-old and stuff like that. So being a black belt didn't mean anything, and they kind of watered it down. The market did that. But the art itself works. But if you got a bunch of non-athletes participating in it, it seems like, oh, Taekwondo, take my dough, oh, whatever. If you come to Korean military and try that shit and with real Taekwondo, you're like, oh, okay, I stand corrected type of thing. And that's all. It's all karate though. Like Taekwondo is karate. It's just
the Korean version. You realize that. That's what he said. I do real karate. Like I can't argue with that. I mean, GSP was a karate guy too, but Lyoto Machida
is great, and he used a lot of karate footwork too. He had great wrestling defense, but yeah, I mean, he came to the ring in a karate gi. He came with a Japanese bandana. Like Lyoto and GSP are some of the best to do it, but they go through phases. Like everybody was really high on jiu-jitsu after Gracie's, and I love jiu-jitsu and all, but look, you got to have like Muay Thai or karate or some kind of striking too. But it's the belt inflation game, which didn't happen to Muay Thai because they don't have belts.
Yeah,
so that didn't happen. But all the belt level things got crushed by market forces
because they want their kid wants to get a black belt, and they'll keep coming.
Right? Yeah, like, and that happened to Kung Fu, that happened to karate, that happened to Taekwondo, but it survived in kickboxing. So you say this guy's a kickboxer. I'm like, okay, that's karate with gloves. That's all that is. It literally is. They didn't know what to call it, so they put the word boxing in the name so that people be familiar with it. Like kickboxing is boxing, and you can kick a little bit more than that. But yeah.
Like I said, Lyoto showed me that kick. I spent a couple of days working it, and it was a game changer. I'm obviously not fighting now, so it doesn't really matter. But it was just like, wow, this is like the best kick ever. And if you mix it,
you can ask my brother and stuff. Before we knew each other, I was like, I want to teach Jake Shields the front kick. Because they often come like this. I'm like, oh my God, it's right there, right there. You could use it then and then.
They help my game so much. You were right. But then if they're straight, you front kick them. Then they'll start turning. Then you throw the roundhouse to deliver. And if they dip down,
you need that to set up the other. Right, exactly. And if that's missing, if you can't use your left leg well either, it's useless. Like you got to be able to kick with both legs. Yeah. You have to be able to kick with your front leg. All I ever see is rear leg roundhouse to the thigh and stuff, sometimes to the head. Like, dude, there's no side kicks, there's no front kicks, there's no anything other than roundhouse. And they don't roundhouse the right way either. They're going like that with their ankle. I'm like, you're gonna break your foot. And they do. They get hurt themselves all the time.
If you're mixing the front kick with a roundhouse, like just real quick with both of them, this is game changing.
You can do that if you're 150 pounds or under. You can roundhouse as hard as you want, probably against another guy your size. But when you're bigger, you do that, you're gonna break your leg.
Yeah,
You got to hit with the ball of your foot or the heel or whatever. If you're going to hit with the shin, you better not get checked.
Yeah, what you Anderson Silva, Weidman, where their legs just buckled and they caved. That's just like, okay, I don't want to do that. Is the fight scene in Japan still thriving? Not really, huh? It's kind of died out there.
They have Rise. It like the girls division got better. They have won. They have their own boxing and stuff, but you know, Pride was all involved with Yakuza. I guess I can say this now. It was the mob.
Yakuza,
yeah, like it really
Japanese
was.
mob, yeah.
Because it actually came out of pro wrestling, which is also mobbed up. But the mob got cleaned out, Yamaguchi Gumi in particular. And a lot of it happened from COVID. They lost connections to China and Korea. And that was like the upper brass of the mob was foreigners. They clamped down on it. It's sad because Pride was awesome.
Right.
And
I like the people would be there. It was amazing.
I like the way their judging system in that better than the rounds. But you know, because you could barely win 2 rounds and get creamed in the last one and still win the fight, like Rampage versus Machida.
No, I agree.
I was like,
right. And there was
I was like, man, it's got to be on total damage.
Having a 10-minute round too is like a lot of people don't get through that first round. There's nothing.
Yeah, it's like it's just barely anything could happen, and you could get a 10-9 round, and then a lot it just doesn't make sense. Like, how come that's weighted the same? It shouldn't. Whatever. But
I like the Pride better, but those days are done. Like you said, because
I don't. Yeah, I like Pride better, but I probably would okay with getting rid of soccer kicks and stuff. Like,
I think those are kind of awesome. It's a real fight. You know, if you can't kick the down opponent, or you can't knee opponent in the head, knee him when he's down.
Why can't from side control? You're like, I could knee you in the head right now, but I'm not allowed. You're you're playing with the rules because you know I can't do this, but I would do this. Yeah. Same thing when someone takes a shot, like, you know, I can't hit you in the back of the head because of the rule, but I would definitely do that. Well, whatever. Look, at the end of the day, as much as we'd love to have like a real fight, you can't do that. It's too barbaric. The sport is as close as you're going to get. Just take the W and realize, okay, in a real fight, like you could get out of this hole, put your finger in his eye or whatever. But like, come on, like, you know, he could also be biting you too. I don't want all that nasty stuff, you know. Ugh.
Well, UFC 1, it was no biting, no eye gouging, no fish hooking. Those are the only rules.
Yeah.
It was pretty, I remember watching the first UFC being, this is like crazy. And then somehow I ended up doing it. That wasn't my plan in life.
Didn't Hoist like hit someone in the nuts over and over?
Yeah, he pulled one guy down by the hair too. Like
he pulled him by the hair, hit him in the bag,
dragged him down. I think he kicked him in the nuts. It's ruthless. But
you can kick someone in the throat, you can kick him in the balls.
Yeah, I guess you can in a fight.
I always thought that was weird too. Is like, so you can up kick someone in the face from down, but they can't stomp on you. And then you know, up kicking with the heel it's pretty nasty.
It makes it an unfair position.
We've gotten way off from the Iran war.
And let's get back into that Iran. People are probably watching political shit. What the war is a total fucking mess. Nothing good comes
total waste of money.
Middle East is still a disaster. Israel is still trying to take Lebanon. Like,
that's part of. So this is what's going to happen: is they agreed on a ceasefire for 2 weeks, but it's according to Iran's 10-point plan, which includes a ceasefire on Lebanon, and that's something they're gonna have to suss out. But Iran wants the U.S. to leave its footprint. So all these adjacent countries, all these Gulf Arab states that sponsored ISIS and they can't be there anymore, or at some minimal level. They're going to put up a toll booth split with Oman, where they're going to charge ships. Right now, they're saying 2 million. That number may change in negotiations, but
that seems high.
That money is going to go to restoration for all the stuff Israel and the U.S. blew up. And it's like you got the Strait open, and now it has a toll. But I would tell the audience, this is normal for the Maritime Silk Road. The Panama Canal has a toll. The Suez Canal has a toll. Like other places, you're lucky they don't do it in the Red Sea on the bottom. The Black Sea has a toll. All these choke points are taken advantage of by the owners who make you pay for traffic. Iran never did that, and now they're going to. But they're going to because you blew up a lot of infrastructure, and they need they need to restore their country. You have to lift sanctions. That's huge. Unfreeze assets. That's huge. They're going to get everything they want because there's no other way to reopen the strait. And they also have the threat of closing down the Red Sea. So Trump can act like it's a victory and be like, yeah, I threatened to nuke them, whatever. They offered this 10-point plan to you before you made all those threats. You are just now finally realizing you can't bully them and you have to accept their demands. As he should. They preemptively attacked with Israel.
I think it's reasonable. Yeah,
and
we
they
attacked
lost.
for some reason. Imagine being a MAGA account right now trying to spin this as a win. Way to go, Trump.
Oh, yeah. The
I can't
copium.
believe these people are like, I almost feel bad.
Hooray, the strait is open, just like it was before the war, except now we have to pay a toll. And before we didn't.
You fall into these like accounts, they're so funny. Or whatever, Trump can change his opinion each day and they're just going to change with it. It's like, no, I couldn't imagine.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Like, learn to think for
just
yourself.
whatever he says, it's ride or die with the Trumpster, the dumpster. Did you hear the song I made?
Oh, actually, I didn't. I went to play it for some reason. I did, and the internet wasn't working where I was at. So
oh, really?
I'll play that right now. Hold on, let me pull that up.
Okay. Hold it up.
The Trump people are loyal. Is it gonna get me in trouble on YouTube or what?
I'll tell you when to stop it.
Okay, let's see. I don't know if it'll be loud enough on here. Let's see. On your Substack, Ryan Dawson, your Substack, correct? It looks like.
Yeah, there's a preview on there.
Yeah, I just moved somewhere and the internet wasn't hooked up and my phone wasn't working. Let's see if I can get this.
I hear you.
Got back from Vietnam and then had to move like the next, terrible.
Yeah. Orange monster. Some call him orange juice. Holding cabinet meetings at McDonald's, everybody wearing shiny clown shoes. Pete Hesed, Department of War Crimes, a drunk, holy-roller, kosher nationalist, snorting lines of Tutsi, such a sight to see. With his buddy Lindsey Graham and limb, wristed Sissy Lindsay is always playing like the hamster in the cave. If you know what I'm saying. Hace lo que le dicen. Tiene la integridad de un burro. We're looking inside a traitor with no remorse. Visits a sex offender's island and brings children, of course. Laughs about child rapes and pizza. Saw 9/11 as another chance to cheat. Yeah, it's acting fury. Because Israel sent a goyim to die, they obliterated credibility. They constantly lie, fighting Iran, but can't explain why. The chosen ones scurry to the shelter as Quorum shine up the sky. Hezbollah laughing as the Merkava tanks fly. Panic hitting Hormuz is shut down. Graham hates the strait, little baby can't be found. Iran is shooting down aircraft like you've never seen before, going down faster than David is shaking in his shadows. Ted Cruz is still slurping skin foods. He's a little man in a human centipede. He's taking tea bags from APAC until his tonsils bleed. These are clowns. Like Epstein's toy. Said no, get bent, and the general said peace us. Graham pops up saying I'll do it for $2. Well, Memphis Lindsay always butters his nuts. So squat, cobbler, spreading his rear. No hands, a bowling pin won't disappear. Shut your mouth, Lindsay, you're dripping babies come. Go play with the ladybugs covering your bum. The coin flipping, penis slipping, sewer mattress, crowd is bitten off more than shoes. We got candles naming the Jew. Oh no, did you notice? You know that's a sin. It's antiseptic to protect children.
All right, pause because it's got to get, it gets too real.
We got your new career switching to music.
It kind of was like they could hear the beginning of that, whatever, but I'll send you the file. You can play it whenever. We're going to make a music video for the whole thing.
That'd be fun.
It's like, dude, Iran won. They won. that raid failed. They were losing aircraft. This was right after Trump said they destroyed 100% of the radar. It's like they're tracking with infrared, you fat orange clown. Then he said they have no air defense. They have no. It's not true. Nothing he said was true.
It's humiliating. I'm sure he is completely humiliated right now, but he needed a way out.
He's so delusional that if enough people be like, "You won, sir. You're so big and mighty and handsome," and he'll believe it.
I guess he probably goes in True Social, and it's just people praising him, being like, "Our great president, he did it again."
They caved because you said you were gonna wipe them off the map. It's like, no, you said that tough talk to make it look like they were reacting to that when they are just giving you the same plan they've been giving you.
Yeah, they kept just being like,
you took it because you realize you cannot go in on the ground that already failed. You bombed all the targets. That's why you're bombing bridges and stuff. Why don't you bomb the ballistic missiles? Oh, wait, you can't. You don't know where they are, and you can't get at them because they have air defense.
They kept coming. Or one night he announced it, and they didn't.
And they increased in volume.
Yeah, right. It's all gone. Then boom, you see that the Israelis are posting, "Oh no, we're under attack." Like, talk about no self-awareness.
Oh, Israel was still getting hit after this whole thing was agreed upon.
Right before we started this interview, I looked and I saw all the Israelis posting, being like, "We're under attack. This is a war crime. What about the They were bitching about the ceasefire. They break every ceasefire, and they were crying that Iran was.
They're bitching about cluster munitions. You use cluster munitions, and you never signed these treaties anyway. Don't give me this crap after what you did to Gaza, what you did to Beirut. You're complaining about the weapons used? Get bent.
It's the most evil thing it's been hard watching this. I mean,
they're the most evil people in the world.
It's been really hard for me to watch this. And then when Iran war, when America started doing on top of it, it's just like, it's not been easy, I think.
Just doing Israel's bidding.
Yeah.
Again.
It's like if someone loves my country, it gets hard to be proud, traveling, like, where are you from? You're like, bombing schools right now. And bridges and power plants, and for no reason.
Yeah, we're on that list now. We're the people that bomb schools and hospitals. Congratulations, fat orange monster. He just capitulated to Israel. That's why we called it Epstein's Fury.
Do you think it's
now? Money? Are we going to talk about Epstein again now that there's a ceasefire? Is that going to be front page news again? Bank of America is having to pay $72.5 million to another 60 victims. That happened this month.
I think that's interesting that all these banks were tied in with Epstein. That just shows, like, I need to do a lot more research into the banking, but it shows this whole banking cabal. Like, it is Epstein.
Yeah, they were paying hush money to victims who signed NDAs and things. And it's still, and Darren Endike and his lawyers, who will be talking to Congress in August, by the way, Richard Kahn and the rest of them, they facilitated this. They kept facilitating it after he was dead because they're still protecting the other clients, because there are other clients. And that's in the Stacey Plaskett lawsuit, talking about facilitating prostitution, or, for commercial sex purposes. So prostitution. And it wasn't all to Epstein. He did not do all this by himself to himself.
Obviously,
it wasn't just Burnell and Maxwell. They both got imprisoned as well. He had clients. He serviced them. Jess Staley was sued for it and lost. He's admitted it. But he didn't admit to all of it. He admitted to having sex with a 20-year-old provided by Epstein, but it was a lot worse than that. And now you see his emails where he dressed her up like Snow White and stuff. But how long have I been saying that? I've been telling this story forever. Like, this is in their internal communications. It's in the court files. You don't have to wait for the file to be released. It's already out there. It's just not all in one place.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure there is. Yeah, we already know it, but it kind of proves it to people too. Like, we knew it was Israel, but it can kind of prove it, and it does show things like, it shows all the
it's like
and the stock market.
You're reading emails that already came out. This already came out. Like, the victims will tell you who raped them. It's not a mystery. They're still alive. You can talk to the girls. They'll tell you who it was.
But they are still withholding a lot of stuff.
Glenn Dubin and his wife. They'll tell you about Jess Staley. They'll tell you who they met and who they were forced to service. And a lot of it's not even blackmail. It's more like a reward.
Yeah,
that's just how
you're right. I think some of it was blackmail, but I think a lot of it was like a reward. I think you just nailed it.
If you look at Bear Stearns and stuff, the complaints about these financials and these hedgies, it's how they operate, man. It's like, just like everybody knows there's a casting couch in Hollywood. There's a casting couch in the music industry. Well, there's a casting couch in these financial institutions where, like, if you're going to be the secretary or whatever, you got to, like, your boss will undress in front of you. You got to put up with a lot of crap that they shouldn't have to put up with. But they'll do it, it's like Vince McMahon.
Mhm.
Janelle Grant was 39 years old. She wasn't some groom kid. She knew what she was doing, but she did it for the money and the job.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you don't have to work there.
Yeah,
But if you
no,
are,
I don't
these are the
feel bad for
conditions.
those. I feel bad for like the high school girls that he was recruiting. He wanted these troubled.
Yeah.
They were looking for like poor, troubled
Not
teens.
even high school in some cases. I mean, he had some 14-year-olds right out of middle school. So did Robert Miller. They all know the Bronfmans. It's like, if you want to get back to this Jewish organized crime that's behind the whole thing, Epstein didn't create his network. He
Yeah.
walked into a pre-existing network. He was just the
Yeah.
latest face. He's a little too John Gotti. He got it's called the underworld for a reason. You're not supposed to promote yourself the way he did. But Lex Wexner had Victoria's Secret and LL Brands, and Jean-Luc Brunel had Karen's/MC2 modeling agency. So they had a professional way of recruiting children. Abercrombie and Fitch and Mike Jeffries, jail too, for raping all those young boys. He was a Wexner guy. But through their modeling wing, they could get young men and women, but young men in Abercrombie. And so you have like a pristine way of getting these models, and you ship them around, and take their passport away. They mostly abuse Eastern Europeans who had they don't have the wherewithal or the money to do anything. They can't sue. They're scared. You sign an NDA, you throw some hush money at them, and they take the deal. And if you're not, and you discredit them, drug them up, whatever. So they don't listen to these little girls. And it's so sick.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can share screen, but some of the shit's still there. If you go to George Models, just type in George space models. It's so disgusting. And they openly are selling kids.
Yeah.
And you look at the front thing, and you can guess. It's not like, oh, is she 17, 18? Nah. They're like 11, 12. Are you looking at it? Yeah.
Do how you hold it up.
Just write George
Yeah.
space models and then click on the first link. This is in the Epstein files. This is just one of the places that would service these people. You can buy kids, and it's still on the internet. I'm only giving one example because it's already out, right? It's already in the files. But there's a bunch of these things.
Well, I think it's really important. You mentioned the whole modeling, even legit modeling. They're recruiting these girls and boys. They're figuring out who's probably the parents aren't paying attention, bringing them to travel. Oh, making a kid a model, and then they're sex trafficking. It's disgusting.
Yeah, a lot of the fashion industries like that. Haddad and a lot of these guys. The French are really bad about it too. They just don't. They don't care about consent. And
I know there's
just.
You used to all these Instagram models and all the guys that would always try and take photos. There were always creeps trying to sleep with them. This is just at a much higher level. It's like, we're Abercrombie. These girls get all excited, think they have an opportunity, and they're just trying to use them for sex.
Yeah, my sister is a photographer, and she does stuff for like circus freaks, and it's pretty weird. But there's always some dude, with his camera, and he wants to go back like in the dressing room. So I'm like, no, dude, you're already in leotard and stuff. They don't. It's always creepy weirdos in the fashion industry. And sometimes it's gay men preying on little men, other men or whatever, but because that industry just attracts creeps. It's just the nature of it,
Yeah, I was having a guy I was talking to a guy. It was Hollywood, actually. It was one of the industries. One of the directors at one point, the gay guys talked him up and they tried to get him to give the guy a blowjob. And it was like he had to do that for like the part. And he's like, they really tried pressure him to do it, and he ended up walking out, but they were all like surprised, like, you had to blow this guy. He was a J. You had to blow them to get pushed in Hollywood. And it was just like, wow. He's like, apparently that stuff happens. You hear stories of it, but the guy's story sounded very credible to me. It's just like,
you see a lot. Hey, Cat Williams said it all, man. Like when you see these people who are doing well in Hollywood, just think of what they had to do to get there.
Yeah, no, he said the two guys like really spent time prepping him up first, and he'd been working with the guy for a little bit. He was doing well, and like, no, you just have to do this, promotion. Like everyone does it. Just they kept pushing him, and finally he just left. He's just like, it was heavily pushed. He's like, I'm just not doing that. But he's like, apparently that's what most people are doing.
It's like the entry fee. The casting couch is real.
Like a sick thing in your head, I think, right? They have to have control or power. Like, what is it with like a Harvey Weinstein?
It's okay. What it is this. especially in the music industry. Music, I'd argue they have more influence than actors. Like there's youth that they get like half their knowledge from lyrics from songs. They're really dumb, but this is what they do. They don't want anybody to ascend to a power of influence who can turn on them. So they got to make sure you're compromised early before you get that push. One, they get off on it. They just like these like black rappers sucking Jew dick. You know, they're just like, you're all hardcore in your image, but here you are on your knees slopping up my cum. You know, like they get off on it. They call it buck breaking. You know, they like breaking the buck in, getting somebody, you know, hardcore and tough and be like, suck my balls. And they do it. So they get off on it. But the other thing is they have that over you. So you're going to just rap about yourself and degenerate shit and say what we want you to say. Because if they didn't, like they reach millions of people. If they said something positive in their songs, you know, they got to be able to shut that down at a moment's notice. So
yeah, if we have a video of you sucking dick, the same.
they're just like, we got you compromised, and we'll tell all your boys, when, you know,
it's like a weird, sick, twisted, like. I think Weinstein, I think he was trying to have sex with like Brad Pitt's wife, or maybe it was one of these celebrities. Can't remember who it was. Actors. It was just this weird power. Yeah, just completely disgusting.
Yeah, and he told her he went after him. Brad went after him. Like, is it because Brad's got enough weight in Hollywood that you can't? It doesn't matter. Like he was an A-lister, so yeah, it's just sick, man. And they require almost every girl's got to show her titties in a movie at some point, or she just doesn't get to the gate.
That's a good point. They make them do that. Well, Candace, remember she had Harvey Weinstein on. Speaking of her, it's like, what? Why are you trying to rehab
him too? Yeah, that's another thing.
That guy's one of the most disgusting, vile. Well, I realized Me Too was almost all.
And look, to be nuanced, there are also girls who 100% are okay with that deal. That did that deal with Harvey. It's a mixed bag, but you can't just point to one of these girls who like did it for the money and is just a whore or whatever, and be like, that's all of them. You know, he definitely did the pressuring. It's called power harassment.
They're making it
he did both.
It was well known in Hollywood. There's an old clip of like the Oscars where they make a joke like how some girl has to go to Harvey's thing, and everyone's busting up laughing, all the celebrities, and it's like it was well known in Hollywood. You had to like suck Harvey Weinstein's dick to get famous.
Right. They roasted him, and you
do have to put some responsibility back on the women, but I still say he's an absolutely disgusting pig.
Well, look, it's not one or the other. You can't be a light switch brain. There are girls who make false accusations. Women lie. Surprise.
Really? No.
Yeah. But they're also real victims, and you can't, cherry pick a couple loons and then be like, that's all it was. Like Epstein had hundreds of victims. You can't find,
that we know of.
One that are involved in lawsuit and concrete, and definitely that's the minimal, right? So you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, well, this one chick was this years old and she thinks she sees lizards or whatever. Like, okay, well, she's mentally ill, whatever. All these women are not making this up. They're not all mental. They're not all like that. He definitely did this. He opened up back in the investigation that started in 2005. He was 52 years old having sex with 14-year-olds. Okay, who told their parents, who did go to the cops, they did everything right, and didn't matter. He got this sweetheart deal. The chief of police resigned in protest. They were like, Barry Kirscher, the prosecutor was not interested in prosecuting, and his defense attorney, Dershowitz, was on board as well, and he just gets this soliciting prostitution with a minor. That's all. When he had been shoving sex toys in 14-year-old girls' anuses and stuff, like plural. And it's all there. Like I can show it to you. I can read. It was in the Florida papers and stuff. What was going on? And he just like gets this 6-day-a-week work leave bullshit. He fled to Israel. They sent him back. They're like, no, you got to go back because we're going to get sweeping immunity for all your cohorts. It was the best thing for them ever because the investigation was being done on his whole network. And they got this deal where everyone got immunity and Epstein got the very most minimal punishment. Unbelievable. And then he did it. He kept doing it.
He couldn't stop. I guess he just thought he's above the law, which I guess he was. It kind of showed there's this class that operates above the law. And that's why
I think Trump had him arrested and murdered because he had everything on Trump. And whatever he was trying to squeeze out of him, like, look, you don't blackmail the mob. Because the way you get rid of a
Trump has
blackmailer is
that
you
much
kill the
power?
blackmailer. Yeah.
I know Trump rules those circles, but I think there's people above him telling him what to do.
Trump
that's
is absolutely at the behest of Bibi. Like he grabs his ankles for Israel. He spreads his cheeks. He's just there. Like, oh yes, thank you, sir. Can I have another? Like they almost killed him, and they blamed it on Iran. Like, remember, Iran tried to shoot you. Like,
that's the most ridiculous thing ever. Iran, like they just make up bizarre stuff. It was Iran. It's
Especially
like
the second one at the golf course, and he's there with Witkoff. Gee, I wonder how they knew which hole you're going to be at. And Witkoff knows, and then is a guy who was in an Azov commercial in Ukraine. Come on, that's not Iran.
Both those guys were in commercials with BlackRock. I think that's bizarre.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means, but it's bizarre.
Crooks was in a BlackRock commercial. Why does BlackRock even have commercials?
Right.
You know, you're investing. You're a hedge fund. Like,
yeah, it's definitely a little strange, and it's like it's also confusing. Like BlackRock, Vanguard, it's like they all own each other. It's but all the top people, they have to be J's.
Mm-hmm. Well,
like,
Mr. Fink, you know, like they have an ideological agenda. They're all Israeli partisans, to say the polite term. And this is why we're constantly at war in the Middle East, Americans dying, American treasury being depleted for Israel's wars. It's not the petrodollar or the MIC or any of this crap. You know, states get off the petrodollar because of the sanctions of war. Iran has not been trading in dollars since like 2006. Really? You know, India and to Japan, they've all been buying in their own currency instead of dollars, because why would you sell in dollars when the U.S. can freeze those, right? So they're not going to do it. Like it's the exact opposite of what they think. They're not going to war to make people get on the dollar. They were already on the dollar. Going to war got them off the dollar.
Yeah,
it's not just wrong. It's the exact opposite of what they claim. Russia was on the dollar. You kicked them off SWIFT. You get it. Like now they're trading in rubles because they have to.
Wasn't Iran trying to make people buy the oil in yen or something?
Yuan was the Chinese currency. It's not true. China buys it in yuan.
Okay.
Japan buys it.
How do you say the currency?
Yuan. Like,
okay.
Yeah, it sounds like yen, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yuan, whatever.
So they weren't really trying to switch it to that.
And by the way, Japanese don't call it yen. It's called en, but you need n as a preposition, so we call it yen, you know, in the States. But it's 90 n, but whatever. The yen, they pay for it in yen, and they still do. They're like, Japan is not going to buy oil in Chinese yuan. That's not happening. They'd rather just not have oil. But in India has bought. They just got another tanker in rupees. Thing is, it's still not dollars. So that's the point. It doesn't matter if it's all yuan or a bunch of bilateral trades in local currencies. It's not dollars. It hasn't been dollars. Like, oh, they got off the dollar. They've been off the dollar for 20 years. They already were off the dollar. That's not why we're at fucking war. We're at war because of Israel. Think of it. Here's another one. The Strait of Hormuz was closed. So all those states that did trade in dollars, including Oman, and then you got the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, couldn't sell oil at all. It went to zero. So all those dollar trades went to zero. And Iran is not trading dollars. Did the dollar collapse? No, it didn't. Because what your claim about the artificial demand and petrodollar, smetrodollar, like, you're wrong. That's not how it works. And that's not why we're at war.
Strictly just
at war for Israel. They wrote a fucking script. Oh, we're going to attack 7 countries in 5 years. That came straight out of Netanyahu's book.
That was the 7th one.
Yeah, right? And Iran was the last one, and it failed. But this is their script. And he went to Congress, Iran, Iraq, Libya. Like, he's named all the places that America and Europe ends up attacking.
Wow, they attacked all 7 of them. That's, it wasn't the timeline, but they still did it. Sometimes
they broke Sudan into Sudan and South Sudan, and then they have a civil war in Sudan, and that's backed by the UAE. But yeah, Iraq for the second time was invaded over the pretext of weapons of mass destruction, and all those lies were fed to the U.S. by Israeli partisans. Syria, Assad did not gas his own people. That was a war for Israel to break the land bridge between Iran and Hezbollah. The failure there was a black swan, because in the age of drone warfare, Hezbollah does not need to smuggle ballistic missiles all the way from Iran to itself. They can build drones with local components, and that's what they've been doing. So all that mess in Syria for nothing, because they end up being able to make drones locally and use them on Haifa. So whatever. But the whole thing was for Israel. And they look, it's not in our interest to help Al Qaeda. The people that attacked us on 9/11 were attacking Hezbollah.
Literally helped. Like literally.
Yeah, you're helping Al Qaeda, and then you're shaking hands with Giuliani in the White House. Kanye West is banned from Britain, but Giuliani is not.
Yeah, that's crazy that Kanye West is banned for a song.
You're banning a musician because he said mean things about a group, even though he apologized, but not the guy that slaughtered people and cut their heads off. Like that. Who's Starmer working for? Because it's not the British people.
No, clearly not. None of our politicians are. Why do you think so many of these Middle Eastern countries align with Israel just for like money, because the U.S. pays them, just because it's easy? Because it seems like most of the Sunni-led countries, not the people, but like led by them, seem to support Israel.
Yes, not the people, but
yeah,
these Salafist Wahhabis, like the UAE was created. It's the remnants of Sykes-Picot. It's British handed over to puppet monarchs. And the problem with a monarchy, this is one advantage a republic does have. It's much harder. You can still bribe a republic. We see it with AIPAC in the United States, but you got to spread the wealth over a much larger number of people. If you have a dictatorship or a monarchy, all you need is one family on board and you rule the whole country. And so it's very volatile, whereas you get their king or prince, then you got the whole thing because they make all the decisions. Yeah. And that's what's happened in a lot of these Sunni areas. There's not one, including Pakistan, there's not one Sunni majority country that isn't an American cuck and an Israeli cuck.
Yeah.
They're all like that.
A lot of Sunnis are mad at me. It's like, I'm not calling out you, but I'm just saying
the
all
exception of Gaza itself, they're all, roll
Sunnis.
over.
And then there's no Sunni countries defending the Sunni people getting slaughtered in Gaza. It's
only the Shia. It's Yemen, it's Iran, it's the PMU in Iraq, it's this Shia groups in Syria and Hezbollah in Lebanon. Yeah. It's all Shia Islam that are standing up for Palestine.
It's like 15% of Muslims. It's like 15% of Muslims were fighting all the other Muslims, the Christian nations, and the Jewish nations.
Yep.
Pretty
and
wild.
Kurds and so on. Like it's well, I guess they're Muslim as well, but like Shia Islam, the theological differences aren't that great. It's just if you have a monarchy that is propped up by religion, like the justification of divine rule ties back to your faith. So any other religion would undermine that, and the Sunni want to hold on to that power. So it's not like, oh, the lineage of Muhammad. No, that's not the deal. It's this faction engages in religious nepotism, and so do all the others. So if another one gets in power, they're all going to hire each other and not you, and you're out completely. So that's the real beef, is political, not theological.
Yeah. I guess they want the money. They don't want to get Israel bombing them, America bombing them. Like we pay a lot of these countries, trade deals.
They have a protection racket. I mean, a lot of these Gulf states are very small. Bahrain is small. Kuwait is small. Qatar is small. UAE is small. Like they can't really defend themselves. And that's on purpose. They drew borders around resources. They made them too small to defend themselves, and they've become completely reliant on an American protection racket.
And we don't follow it. Qatar, they have the largest U.S. base. Israel bombed them. We're supposed to protect them. Nope. Sorry, that was our greatest ally.
Air defense wasn't even on. They turned it off so the Israelis could try and assassinate negotiators for Hamas.
I believe with jets we gave them.
Yeah, with jets that were, and give is the right word. We didn't sell them.
Yeah,
because they buy it with aid that we gave them, so, which is always forgiven loans. So
yeah, you see these clocks, they're like, but they buy U.S. military stuff. It's like,
no, they didn't buy it. No. That comes out of their $1 billion, $4.9 billion aid that you're subsidizing U.S. companies, that give away products to the Israelis.
We give them our best
shekels. Those are paid in your dollars. You paid for Israel's Air Force.
Yeah, we're buying that. We're paying for that genocide.
Yeah, you paid for that genocide. Like you were forced to pay to bomb, Ahmed in Khan Yunis or whatever. It doesn't benefit your life at all. It's completely immoral. And you're out there being forced to pay for Israel's military.
You don't have help.
They use for genocide. Yeah, that was the kind of facetious joke is, well, they're dropping J dams on Gaza. Don't worry, Americans with no health care will pay for it.
Yeah, we're like the only industrialized country without healthcare. Asia's most have it. No, most of Europe does. Does Asia have free
Everywhere
healthcare?
in
No?
Asia had it. They had it first.
Basically, every
Yeah.
nation.
Asia is leading in healthcare, education, like every measuring stick, IQ, whatever. They are just winning on
I
everything.
love Asia. Every time I go there, like I didn't want to go back. I have several friends that went to stay there for a year, and after a year, they just stayed. Plan was, yeah, I'm gonna live in Asia for a year. All three of them are. Well, you too. So
Come out here, man. Be my neighbor. Like,
I was last time I was there. It's like, do I want to go back? Do I want to just like? Do I want to be in America? It's hard when your
I have a
country
lot of people that would visit me in Japan because that's where I lived for 17 years, you know, and they're there like 2 or 3 days and like, can I buy a house here? They are ready to move. I was like, what about your family and all that stuff you were saying? And they're like,
yeah,
like the average weight of women is 116 pounds versus the US where it's like 160 pounds.
They're in shape, they cook, they'll clean, like
they're feminine. Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah, they're not all manly.
And you know, the US was like that when I was growing up. Obesity wasn't a big thing. If you look at your yearbook and stuff, we're the same age, I think. It's you know, it was like the fat kid.
Yeah.
In your grade or whatever. It was very rare.
When you go back and look, the fat kid.
Yeah, they're not fat at all.
Like go watch.
If you look at the music video, Chubby Checkers and the Fat Boys, you look at the Fat Boys, you're like, oh my God, look how fat the fat. Look at the Fat Boys now.
Yeah.
They're not even average Walmart.
You're the fat kid in Goonies. He's not even really fat by today's standards.
Yeah, Chunk. Yeah, not at all.
Wait, Chunk's not even fat. Yeah. He was like so fat when I was a kid.
Yeah, we're like, God, he's got fat on his face. He's so fat. Like
that little fatty. Now that's just a normal kid.
Unheard of, especially in children. Now that's just every other kid, man. It's
think
sad.
It's food, combination between food and not exercise.
I think it's the sedentary lifestyle and the food. It's hard to know because like Japan has the internet and video games and all that stuff. So does Korea, but they're not gaining weight. So I think most of it has got to be something in the food.
I felt so much
and probably some genetics too. It's just like Europeans were built to last through the winter, you know, like, and but they're eating all the time. I don't know, but it's something in the food because the exact same race and people in the same area were not like that in the 80s.
Yeah,
so I think something happened.
That's what I'm thinking. Multiple factors. I think food is the single biggest factor. I would think exercise too. People don't like walk. If you don't like walk, at least if some people are go out of shape, go walk a couple miles a day, do something. So before we wrap
this, it's also no fat shaming.
They fat shame
like people laugh, but like, no, man, if you were chubby in the 80s, you got bullied. Yeah, what up,
you know,
fatty? Like,
Asians, they'll go home, their moms will be like, "Why are you so fat?" And they'll gain like 3 pounds. It's hilarious.
Oh yeah, dude. If you get over 45 kilograms, yeah, they're like
they do it early.
You don't want to be 100 pounds
early, but they do it right away. Like they'll barely gain any weight. And the mom will be like, "Why are you so fat?" And
their friends will gang up on them like with concern, like, "Oh, are you okay? I saw you gaining weight. Like, do you need help?" It's considered like such a bad thing.
I watched a girl wasn't even fat, got ganged up on by her family when she was home. They're all telling her she was so fat in college, needed to go lose weight.
I'll tell you a funny thing for the I'm so anti-weeb, but like, you know, it's kind of the stereotype that black guys hit on chubby white girls. Same thing happens in Asia. It's the white guys hitting on chubby Asian girls. Like they think they're all awesome because they got this Asian chick. And like she's considered very low standard.
They don't know.
Yeah, in Japan, that's the fat girl that you think is so awesome. Like,
what country do you think has the best? Korea, Japan?
It's kind of like no,
definitely not.
No.
Yeah, probably Korea.
It's, Korea, Japan, the rich parts of China, not China in general.
Yeah, the other ones aren't. But the Chinese can be absolutely beautiful.
And then I don't know, probably Taiwan.
Oh,
but there's a gap, man. Like, and if you are S tier, it's South Korea. But if you're talking averages, like a lot of A's, A's and some S's, it's Japan.
Yeah, but no, Korea. Like look like Blackpink. There's just so many girls that look like that. They're just
it's like you go around Gangnam and it's what you have only in magazines and TV in America is outside in Korea. Like you just go to a Starbucks and it's like 10, 10, 10. You get
Yeah, I
spoiled.
remember I was in Korea. I'm like, wow, this is not bad.
Wait, that I disavow. It's not true. Don't come here. We're full.
No, they're ugly. It's all just ugly, disgusting.
You do
But like
need
you
to
said,
speak
there's the
Korean,
guys
though.
that
That
get
is
into
true.
the
Like you
reviews.
do need to speak Japanese, or you're not gonna. They're just not gonna.
Yeah, I know.
put up
You
with
totally
it.
couldn't even speak Japanese or be a famous fighter. But there's all these guys that they're with the ugly ones that I can't tell the difference. You're like, what are you with that girl?
Yeah.
We're like the
Well,
blacks of Asia.
they
or
just
what?
all look alike. They're just so happy. But the thing is, if you grew up in the U.S., especially in somewhere like Texas or whatever, everyone's hot when you come to Asia. But what
Mhm.
Asians would consider like rejects, they're like, it doesn't matter. Like they're the angels because they've never, their 1 to 10 scale has to get shifted to like 1 to 12 because there are just things that did not exist where they're from.
Mhm. Well, if you
That's
go to a
true.
place
Like you
where
talk
all the
about like
girls are
Blackpink
hot,
level, like there's above Blackpink level. There's like above aespa level. There's the whatever. The musicians are the same thing with AKB48. Those are supposed to look like the girl next door on purpose.
yeah, those are just like the regular girls. So you go to a place like
That's
that,
not even
have
their
to be nicer
best.
to the
Yeah, I
regular
know.
extremely hot girl's not extremely hot. She's just a normal girl.
Mhm.
You go to some places like San Francisco, there's no hot girls. The few hot girls are all stuck up because every guy's after them.
That's why I tell a lot of my Japanese friends are like, if you would come to California, people would just give you free stuff. That happened with my wife, like constantly. We're in LA and they would just give her lunch and she didn't have to pay.
Why
And
is
I was
that?
like, you're gonna get treated like a queen.
Oh, because you're
Whereas
beautiful.
in Asia, you
Yeah.
know, you're hot in Asia, but you're not. So are a lot of other people. But when you go to America,
It's so
people just
crazy
like,
how beautiful girls
I
are
was
just
like, you don't
treated
understand. Like they're gonna
different.
remember you visiting their store the rest of their life.
Yeah, I think a lot of beautiful girls just don't even understand they live in a completely different world than
There's
ones that
nothing
aren't.
better than a beautiful girl that doesn't know it.
Yeah. Like, or the ones that were like ugly when they were young, then they get beautiful. But the ones that have just always been beautiful, they're just like, "Ah, I think everything just handed to them."
They're kind of ruined, but the ugly duckling's the best. The one that
Mhm.
like started bad and got better.
Yeah, those are the rare ones are good because the girls has always been life has just been so easy. Everything she's ever done. Just here, like everyone's just so nice. Everyone wants to help. Everyone wants to do free stuff.
Yeah, they're like, America, everyone's nice. I'm like, yeah, to you.
Yeah, right. Only to you. Yeah, everywhere I go, I open doors, offer me things, give
Girls
me
are
free
mean,
lunch.
but men are so nice. Like, yeah.
All the girls are so mean. Oh, before we wrap,
Dude, white girl in Japan, instant anorexia.
yeah, I missed.
You want to
I
get a
missed
girl on
when
a
I was
diet,
just
just
there.
bring her to Asia.
I'm gonna have to come visit you because I already want to go back. Before we wrap, I just want to hit a couple things. For one, for you, you've been talking about this forever. You must have felt like a crazy person yelling in the wind. There's just been a
Yeah.
massive shift in the last like 3 years. Mass
Oh, yeah.
awakening. I mean, that's a
That's what
positive
October
thing.
7th like
Positively,
ripped a hole in the matrix, man.
they
It was
sacrificed for us. That's why I get mad when people hate on the
they
Palestinians and
paid
shit.
the
Like,
ultimate
people
price.
sacrificed for us. But we
They
need
did.
to like we need to take advantage of this opportunity because how do we do the change from here? That's what's the frustrating. Like, what are the next steps?
I say this a lot. I don't think you can just like vote in the right people. We do have our studs like Thomas Massey and Dan Bilzerian's running for Congress. Full support for that dude.
Yeah, but we fully support these people. But
there are like there's some, but in general, you're not going to vote your way out of this. You have to. Politics is downstream from culture, and culture is downstream from media. You have to break the media. What got everybody to notice was TikTok and then Telegram and X. If you break their monopoly on media, you break everything. So everybody arguing about political solutions, what they want, I was like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you don't fix the culture, every product, whether it's a republic, a monarchy, fascism, communism, it doesn't matter. It's broken because your culture is broken. And it's like we were saying about Asia. You look around, look at Singapore, look at even some parts of China, look at South Korea. It looks like a futuristic land. You know, the skyscrapers, the functioning, everything's on time, no litter, no cigarettes on the ground. That's how it is because of the culture. And the culture is that way because their media isn't run by goblins. If you get rid of the goblin influence, you can have these things. Like Europe used to have beautiful capital cities before they let the goblins in the gate. And the goblins are just constantly pushing degeneracy, porn, and just thug life, this and that. Like that trash, that filth erodes the culture. And then the politics are a reflection of that. So you got to change the culture first. And the way to do that is breaking the media monopoly. That's why I'm always pushing Substack and Telegram and whatever we have left, because that is what's reaching. And this new generation, they're tuned in. Like they are that
Yeah,
TikTok
I have a
thing or
little
whatever,
hope,
they're tuned in.
but then it's also gets so frustrating. So I see hope with the youth, but then you see these people just don't care. You know, part of them even on, I'm like, maybe I'm just going to
Well,
stay
the
here.
problem with Gen X is they have learned helplessness. They grew up pre-internet most of their life, so they feel like there's nothing I can do about it. And they were correct. It really didn't matter what you knew before the internet.
Yeah.
But now that you do have a way to reach people, it's worth it to have that knowledge, and it's worth it to try. Before, it was a lost cause. It would have got to write an op-ed in the paper, or who cares? But like a show like this would, think of this: how much knowledge about finance, politics, and so on that in conspiracy did you gather through the internet versus school and books and TV?
Mostly the internet.
Almost all of it. Like, yeah. And even if you got a good book, you wouldn't have known what book to get if not the internet. You know, like it all relates to the internet.
Find someone walking around randomly. I used to go to bookstores, but overall, yeah, you get recommended something or you find something. I learned way more from the internet, like self-learned.
Yeah, and it's like you're like, well, how would you be able to read the Epstein files unless you had the internet? Are you going to go to DC and no, not really. Like you're going to, but now everyone can read them. They're redacted as hell, but they're there. The internet is the break in the media monopoly, and this Jewish control over the media, and that's exactly what it is, has eroded. And this is why their power is slipping. People are able to notice. And once you notice, you can't unnotice.
No one ever unnotices. No one's the crazy uncle's never like, never mind, I was wrong. And then once people see it, they get pretty worked up. I have friends that just started seeing it like 3 months ago that are like, they can learn so fast too. So many places,
and they're so hungry for the next red pill once they go down that path.
Yeah, it's like
until they get to the ultimate boss, which we're not going to say because you're on YouTube, but like that's the final pill.
JTube. Yeah, you must feel a little vindicated. You're probably so ostracized from like a lot of places for a lot of years, right? Have you had a lot of people apologize to you and stuff, or not really?
Nah, and like I debunked. I explained RFK on your show.
Yeah,
and from then on, everyone's like that was saying Caesar, and like they knew it all along.
A lot of people praise that. I'd be like, who was that guy? I think that was the first one. Like you broke that down. Great. Yeah, I've several other podcasts.
I could do the same thing for JFK. Like, but I'm mad if people just grift off my work because like I'm taking all the heat, and then someone else goes and repeats it later and gets all the credit and all the monetary value and all that. I'm like, it sucks.
Does get the information out there, at least, is the other way of looking at it.
I mean, that's why I did it, but I'm just saying I had to take it on then. I'm the guy, I'm the one with money. I'm the one that's going to get all the heat for this. And then you get someone else. So like at minimal, could you just say, I learned this from Ryan Dawson so that now I could get a little bit of return?
Yeah.
I don't see why people are constantly like sniping shit from somebody. Just repost. Is your repost button broken, you know?
Yeah, I saw Ian Carroll credit you or quote tweet someone too instead of steal their shit.
He kind of had to when he's wearing a shirt that I designed on the thing. That's rare though. What Ian did is super rare. Like he definitely did a lot of sniping as well. So eventually they're like, they feel guilty because they basically once they've made it and they're already on Rogan and they've got then they can now finally say, I learned that from Ryan. But I was like, dude, I know I can see what's going on. It's whatever. But it pisses me off. Like I know that Team Zionists are gonna cancel me, but like people on my side, why aren't you sharing not just me, but whoever you're learning this stuff from? I'm always praising Justin Raimondo or whoever, like all these people, Michael Collins Piper, like Grant F. Smith. I'll tell you, like they deserve it. They dug it up. These are who you should know about. But there's this weird, like egotistical pissing contest where like, well, we just need the info, bro. I'm like, it doesn't stop the info at all to share where you got it from.
Yeah, you spent a lot of time actually reading all like documents, court files, like all kinds of shit you read. Like that takes a lot of patience and time, and not many people.
15 years worth of videos deleted and thousands of dollars stolen. The Vimeo, I got kicked off that too. They took $6,000 from me, which was a lot of money at the time, and it's like,
they pulled down your 9/11 film, correct, on YouTube. used the
They
example.
pulled my whole YouTube channel down. Yeah.
You used as an example a few times of say, look what they did. Harvey Weinstein produced Fahrenheit 9/11. And then
Right.
your film, that was the most
Which was
boosted, promoted
that.
film
Yeah,
ever.
that Michael
Worst
Moore
case
fiasco was in theaters.
Yeah, it was the most
But
heavily.
you will
pushed
never
on
see
TV.
Empire and Mass, not even on YouTube. You can't put it
You
there.
included the Israeli connections. You also included the Saudi connections because those are
Yep.
there. There are Saudi
Oh
connections.
yeah, like Saudi Arabia, fuck them too. Like
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia and Israel were part of a joint intelligence nexus that
Mhm.
were steering Al Qaeda. That's what happened on 9/11. Al Qaeda did 9/11, but they
Mhm.
were not wholly separate from intelligence agencies and never have been. They weren't in Syria, they weren't in Afghanistan, they weren't in America.
Yeah, and you
But
covered the
that film is free. It's not like I charge money or anything. It's free. You go to ryandawson.org, click on Empire and Mass. You can find out what happened on 9/11. You got a long flight, it's 3
Yeah.
hours and 59 minutes. You can watch it.
I
Or you
watched it
could probably
drive.
just listen to it even. But like I am
Yeah.
putting all the documents on the screen for a reason. So I hope you
Yeah,
watch
I had it
it.
on when I was driving, so I was like, right. So I was trying to watch, but then I was like trying to keep up with the documents.
Yeah, New Mex another one. And everyone's like, oh yeah, you know, Kennedy, Damona, da, da, da. I'm like, you learned that 3 years ago. Like you were not talking about that till I made a movie about it.
I learned a lot of this stuff from you a few years ago. I'm not gonna
Just
lie.
give credit
I
where
never
credit's
pretend
due,
that's-
man. That's
I don't
all you-
pretend like I've known this stuff forever, and it's like, but once you see it, it's like, wow.
Get your
Right.
boycott Israel coffee. Made this stuff before it was cool. Now, man, I love it. We talking about the change I've seen 20 years ago, trying to talk about 9/11, forget about it. They're all hooked on Alex Jones, and there's just no, you just couldn't get it's yelling in the wind, like you said.
Yeah.
Even talking about like Khan Yunis. No, be honest. People did not know where the fuck that was until after October 7th when they started blowing it up.
Wait, what was
Right?
it?
They didn't know the area Khan Yunis, Gaza City, and then Khan Yunis.
Oh, yeah,
Like, they
yeah.
didn't know, and they learn geography through war. And
Yeah.
okay, they know now. And I've really watched where it just seemed hopeless. I'd almost given up on Palestine because I'm like, there's no one cares. They're just going to wither and die. And then this happened. And of course, Israel overreact. They killed their own. I think they knew
I think
about
they killed a
October
lot. I
7th.
think a lot of them, yeah.
They Hannibal directed their own Jews. They murdered them to up the death
hippies
count so
done
they
them.
could get a bigger reaction.
Well, look who they
They
put
just
there. The
went through-
hippies who they wanted to get rid of. They moved that
Dude,
music.
there's way more than 71,000 dead people in Gaza.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
what they know. Yeah. They can't find the incinerated bodies.
They tried to tell
starved
me
them. They shot people at
Iran
food
killed 40,000 protesters and then 70.
Yeah.
They killed 700 protesters died in Gaza almost. Like, how insane is that?
If you did a Venn diagram of Iran kills protesters and beheaded babies and Hamas rapes, you know, the people that believe in any of those believe in all of those. It'd just be one circle.
Yeah,
40,000 protesters. Really give us names. Where is this? Where'd you get that number from? Well, they got it from Barry Weiss at CBS, who made it up.
She's so talentless, and she paid like $100 million for her podcast. It's just like, I looked up the views.
Longest.
Of her, and I have so many more views. I'm like, oh, so my podcast is worth a couple $1 billion. Like,
I do this thing called the Woodshed, where I just take some fucker and it's called so and so to the Woodshed, and I just break them down. The one on Barry Weiss is 7.5 hours long. She did a stupid interview with Joe Rogan, and every sentence out of her mouth was a lie. So it's like 7.5 hours just breaking down all the stupid stuff she said. There's like a 24-minute segment out. I clipped out of it. Still kind of long, but it's just she's constantly lying. She's got that Netanyahu lie, like, oh, the Palestinians. She has every Hasbara talking point.
Yeah.
Of course, they put her there to manage CBS.
Yeah.
CBS, you should call it BS or SEE BS. See the BS. That's all it is.
Yeah,
and they were fostering this whole Epstein still alive crap because the metadata does show that they had to splice together film of his door. And it's like,
there is some odd things there because there was I'm not saying he was alive. He's most likely, I would say he's killed, but there was the guard.
He had 2 autopsies. He's dead. They found broken bones in his neck. His own brother saw his corpse.
Well, the only guard that was awake did report they wheeled him out of there. That's the only counter argument.
Well, they said they had a fake wheeling out, so the press would go follow.
Oh, that could be possible. Yeah. Well, they had
did.
5 subpoenas on this guy and then no interview too. I noticed. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, well, you're never going to get anything out of that prison. Like the warden, like, oh, the guards are asleep, the cameras
Everyone's
don't work.
sleeping.
Like, you're never going to get anything out of these people. They
You
paid him
think,
off.
yeah, they
The
sent
prison
someone.
did not decide to kill him. That order came from above.
Well, yeah, obviously the prison wasn't.
And who's above? The governor and the president. Who was the president? Donald Trump. And who
probably
did
got-
Epstein have a lot of dirt on? Donald Trump and all the Trump's donors.
Well,
He
who
had
was
him
in
killed.
charge? Who was in charge of the prison's bar? Not prisons, Donald Barr, or was it William Barr? Who was
William Barr.
Was it William
Yeah.
Barr? Yeah, and he has ties.
So William Barr was not involved with Epstein. They're all saying he's the one that hired him at the Dalton School. That is not true.
No,
William Barr's
I've heard that several
father
times.
is not true. William Barr's father was the dean of he was there the year before Epstein got hired. And what had happened was, because in 1973, because of the Yom Kippur War, a lot of the Jewish donors that floated that school
Mhm.
donated directly to Israel, and their donations went way down. And so the Dalton School had a huge down signing where they fired Barr and 6 teachers. They got rid of the headmaster and 6 teachers to cut costs. That's why they hired Epstein, because he could teach math and physics, he said. He didn't even have a college degree. They started low cutting. Of course, they only hire other Jews. And so Epstein got in, but he wasn't hired by Barr. Barr was already gone. Gardner P. Dunning is the one that
Where does
hired
that
Epstein.
come from? I've heard that
And Gardner
multiple
P. Dunning,
How
I
did that?
researched this whole thing, man. Like this is a
How did that
fact.
get out there?
So,
Who knows?
all right, fine. Just go on
No,
your favorite search
I'm not being
engine
wrong, I just-
and look
I mean,
up who was the headmaster in 1973 and 1974. Barr resigned in the summer. So Epstein's hired in September of 74. That's when he starts. Barr was no longer there. That is a fact. But they had this thing called the Holocaust Builders that are donating to the school. I'm not making this up. It's what they call themselves. And Gardner P. Dunning, by the way, had his own little sexcapade with a 14-year-old who he had living with him, who he was groping. Like, and Epstein, why is he working at a high school? Because he likes high school girls. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I don't know why.
the job he wanted. He already had
money.
money. He had Wexner and all that was already happening. He just wanted to work at a high school so he could access the high school girls.
Yeah, no, looking through his thing, it seemed like he liked girls between like 12 to 17.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, 17 was on the line, man. They're getting a little too old for him. If they had braces, it was a bonus.
Yeah, and, well, a lot of the sex recruiting for women too, that just shows kind of dark. Everyone's like, women are a lot better, but he would use women to recruit these young girls.
Yeah, Leslie Groff and Sarah Kellen and stuff were his mains. These are the people Massey needs to subpoena because they ran the books, the whole massage book. You know what a massage was. They have that. They have every name. They know who was on the flights with them, and they know who was booking. Because a lot of this did not occur on Epstein properties. They used neutral properties. You can't film someone having sex in your own house. Because the moment you give that to the police, they're going to be like, where is this? Why is it in your bedroom? Why do you have a little kid in your house at all? Explain this.
Why is a 12-year-old blowing someone?
Right. Why do you even know a 12-year-old? So you got to have hotels or somewhere else to do these things. And that's what they were doing. So all these people are like, oh, he had cameras all over his houses. Correct. He did. So he could watch his own shit as a trophy. But he's not using that for blackmail because that's unusable. You can't film somebody committing a crime in your own bathroom or bedroom or whatever, because you got to explain why are these two people in your house? What's that?
Yeah. But you think dozens of hidden cameras seems a little bit weird. Like, I get your
like
hard to get to blackmail, but yeah.
No, he
probably
Maxwell and stuff.
They liked having the stuff on the people too. Even if he couldn't release it, he probably enjoyed having it just still to fuck with.
He just enjoyed watching himself do it. Oh, he he wants that first moment. He wants to the first time they get raped, whatever. He wants that on camera.
Such sick, twisted.
It's just his sick perversion, man. He did Randy Savage.
Well, I got to wrap in the next few minutes. I got to pick someone at the airport. Anything else?
I love Randy Savage as a wrestler, but he did camera up his whole house.
Just to watch the sexcapades or what?
He was he just was like very paranoid about his wife cheating on him. So he cambered his house.
She was a total whore.
I mean, dude, why bring her on the road? Yeah.
Or he was banging.
Hey, pro tip to you guys: don't let your girl do jujitsu.
Yes,
she will bang the teacher.
People give me shit for that. You're just insecure. It's like, I've been running these, and I actually didn't sleep with any of the students, but it's just I've seen it so much being an instructor because I think that's an abuse of power. You know, I don't think you should sleep with your students.
Is.
I actually,
it's just something they want.
People like always, oh, sure. It's like, no, dude, I would get mad at all these other instructors, especially when I was running a gym and shit, but they're all doing it. So it's like, you can't even fire them if like every instructor.
I'd say too, the kind of girls that are going to a very male dominated sport where you can roll around with dudes are looking for
manhandled and choked, wrapped their legs around them. They'll be like moaning in your ear. It's just like, they do this for purpose. Like guys don't train with girls. Like a lot of the Muslims won't. I understand it now.
Some of them are serious. They really want to learn jiu-jitsu, but you know, there's a portion that are, you know, they got to the same guy. Reason if the guy's in the yoga class,
I should
have done bang a yoga teacher. Like, oh, like, that's why he's there. Like,
but it's just like,
not all, but that's pretty much why dudes do yoga. Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, you see, sometimes you'll see a guy new bring his girl, hot girl, and he's just getting manhandled by like the top guys at the gym. And then she's like rolling with a dude. And it's just like, it's not a good psychological thing. I think girls are
happy their boyfriend breaks him. Like he's no longer cool in her primitive brain. It just, you're lesser than now.
Yeah. Don't let your girlfriend train jiu-jitsu unless it's an all girls gym or teacher. And so many of these instructors, some of my friends, but
I really think it ought to be all girls, but there's just not enough girl instructors to do that. So you can't do that. Like it has to be mixed, and you just got to have like a good teacher that won't do that. But you know, even the other students, I mean, it's just, like I'd rather it be segregated. I think the girl boy jiu-jitsu is a little, I don't like that. You know, men boxing women, right? That's insane.
I want to do a men-only jiu-jitsu club. It's not the place to mess around with women and shit. I want to avoid all the drama in the fight gyms. There's so much. I always tell the fighters, don't sleep with fight girls.
Aren't you in California? I mean, is there any difference?
I'm in Vegas now, but there's so much drama at the gyms because the fight girl, they'll break up with a guy and then she's banging another fighter right away. Sometimes at the same gym, or sometimes the guy that just fought. Like, it's women's nature. The girl's fighting. She's probably going to like fighters.
Look at me, man. They see him lose a fight. They want the guy that won.
Dude, it's insane. Girls do that.
It's this weird thing. It's like, well, like just because you beat up this dude doesn't mean you get her girlfriend. I'm like, you got pretty good odds. You kind of do.
I've seen it. Yeah, like a big fighter, you see a different world than a lot of people see. And literally, beat a guy, the girlfriend in your DMs or ex-girlfriend. Just that's how the world works. You learn like, oh, sometimes some of their, not all, but some of these women's their wires are a little different.
There's already the filter because you're not getting women in general. You're getting someone that chose to come to jiu-jitsu and anyway. So it's not like all, but
the ones
there's a filter before. But there's something to it. It's just like rock stars. Like whoever, they see a bunch of eyeballs looking at one person, and it could be a comedian, a singer, whatever. Like they love attention. So if they see this person gets all this attention, I can get attention through them, and that's attractive to girls.
No, it's 100% true. And even
Mick Jagger's not a good-looking dude, but he's slaying it. He got fame.
And even at a smaller level, if you're like the best rock climber and the girl's into rock climbing, or if you're the best jiu-jitsu guy and the girl's into jiu-jitsu, that's who everyone's going to look up to at the gym. So it's maybe someone's not even famous. That's why some like local.
Yes, the eyes on the king. Whatever everyone else is paying attention to in whatever field, even if it's like a musician or whatever, that person, you know, when they're the center of attention, that's super attractive to women.
Yeah, it's the most.
Guys, the opposite. A girl's got all the attention. They're like, well, not that one.
I don't want anything. So women are way more attracted to status than money. It's people say the gold diggers. That's like a small aspect of it.
No, the money is just a way to get status.
Yeah,
they're attracted to status.
100%. There could be a guy with zero money and a rich guy, but the guy, if he's got status, that's the girls will gravitate towards. With absolutely no doubt in my mind. I've been around the world enough. People try to argue with it, and it's like not even close. But
yeah, I know. Like I've never been super rich, but I've always had some kind of status.
Yep. That's exactly. If you have status, you're able to get the women, I guess. Well, shit, I got to wrap. Anything you want to hit before we wrap? Obviously, plug your store again.
Well, you know, this Iran deal is new, and it's going to be flushed out in the next 2 weeks, so the details will be coming. RyanDawson.org. I'll be going over it. Like this just happened. I woke up and went on Jake's podcast. Like this happened.
I hope the deal actually, it's like morning where you're at. I hope the deal actually works and goes through, even though it's a
Israel's
lot.
never held a ceasefire in its life. So, but this one,
Yeah.
because they're losing, I think they may think differently.
That's why I was laughing when I saw the Israeli people going, they sent things after the ceasefire. It's like, go fuck off.
Yeah, eat a dick, man. Like,
Vampires
they
can't
didn't
see
have a
their own
ceasefire with
fucking
you.
anyway.
Like, until you agree to comply with the points that America signed on, you're still a target.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't it crazy?
Fuck
We're only doing
Israel, man.
ceasefire.
I
bet
put it on a t-shirt. Fuck Israel.
fuck Israel. That's a great shirt. Well, I bet
It's
we
got
only
the
did
red triangle and it
because
just
Israel
says
is
fuck
probably
Israel.
Israel and triangle.
It started with end aid to Israel, boycott Israel, fuck
Fuck
Israel.
Israel. That's where we're at now.
And
And it
next
ain't
is like
trying
burn Israel, burn. Like,
destroy Israel. So, all right, Ryan, it was great talking to you. We'll do something soon, maybe JFK.
awesome, man. Come
We'll
out to
figure
Asia. Come
something out,
back.
so
Come
many,
back to
so many
the
topics.
come back to the land of elves, man.
Yeah, I want to. Realistically, I'm trying to think when. 6 months, maybe. So I'm ready to go back to Asia. I love it out there. I think I need to stay for a few months. I think next time just get a place for a few months and chill. That's the move.
I'll be here. You need to hit up. Come to Japan with me and come over to Korea, meet the family and everything.
I'll go train with
You have a good time.
Akiyama. No, good talking.
Yeah, well, we might be able to go see him if you want.
It'd be cool to hang out. It's fun to hang out sometimes with your old opponents.
I don't know him, but I know his parents.
He's like a superstar over there, right?
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
his wife
that's
is famous.
their big sports are like baseball and things. They're the megastars, but martial arts is still pretty famous. Yeah.
Well, all right, Ryan. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.
See it.